Let me, oh yeah, it's right here. I was looking around because I have the stream pulled up so I can see the chat too. And, I didn't think, like, hey, where did I put that? Oh, right in front of my face. Okay, good, it's muted. Let me, oh yeah, it's right here.
Alright, so welcome everybody to the Geekus Theoreticus podcast. This is episode 1. And basically, this is going to be a weekly podcast where we talk about some recent gaming nerd news and, yeah, all that fun stuff. Which includes some recent drama and such, but nothing real world serious or overarching, so no one has to be depressed. So
Yeah, that's not the goal.
no. My name is Asmagon, and this is my co-host.
I am Ludus Infinium.
And he has his own channel. I will link that below. I think I don't... Oh, shit, I didn't do it. I'll do it in a pinned comment. That'll be actually better, I think. Let me get that all set. But out of the topics we're gonna cover today, we have obviously the one that's used in the title, which is a kid spent over $20,000 of his parents' money on streamers, which blows my mind. That if that kid is still alive.
I love my son, but if he did that, I swear to God, I would adopt him out.
My parents would have disemboweled me. They would have taken my organs, wrapped them around me like a Christmas tree, and pinned me to a rock or something outside, like Prometheus, and have a bird just come and eat my liver.
I didn't think of that, but yes, that's actually, yeah, Prometheus, yeah.
And that's being kind. That's if my parents were tempered about it. This would not have ended well. Alright, so let me pin your channel link. Right there we go. Alright, so it's in the comments. I will pin it. And if anyone wants to go check out his channel, please do so. He's a very entertaining guy.
Try to be.
Alright, so with the story about this kid. So what essentially happened, and this is what I've been able to gather together through multiple articles, through multiple sources. Apparently the kid was receiving chore money. And apparently the practice of giving your kid a $5 or a $20 is now dead, because apparently this mom had a bank account set up for this kid where she was actually sending him money, and he saw the account information and everything that she was using to send him money, and she used that to send he used that, set up the information on, I am assuming, Twitch, and then used it to send money to streamers he liked. And by the end of the month, apparently this woman doesn't check her account regularly. I don't know about you, I check my bank account fucking daily. By the end of the month, she looked into her account and her entire life savings had been spent. $20,000.
I don't know if you've seen the commercials of this, but this is a bit on topic. They came out actually with a debit card for that kind of thing. The parents link it up to their bank account and their phone, and when the kid does a chore, they can actually send money from their bank account to the kid's debit card, kind of like a prepaid card almost.
I don't know if this is what that. I don't know if this is what that was, but it might be the same thing. Yeah.
I don't know if it's the same thing, but I think that's a dumb idea. I really do.
Yeah, this was insanity to read. I honestly can't. I can't fathom the reason. I cannot fathom what this kid was thinking. I can't. Like, the thing is, some articles I've seen have said the kid is like 15. Others have said he's like 17. I'm not sure which age he is, but he's an older teen.
Money that he doesn't live to see 18.
Again, if this were my parents, I'd be fucking dead. Like, this is like a really weird nightmare to envision.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, after all this happened, the mom freaked out. She went to Twitch. She went all over the place trying to get the money back somehow. And essentially these platforms say like, hey, we can't do anything. This was properly spent money. And we don't owe you a refund directly because this is considered, I think the legal term is it's friendly something. I don't know the exact legal term, but apparently it's when money is spent properly. Like there wasn't an outside third-party foul play. It wasn't like identity theft. Her son, who she has confirmed, her son is the one who spent the money. So she isn't owed the money back. This wasn't considered foul play, legally speaking. But the thing is, from what I heard, the streamers that this kid donated to all were like really big streamers. Like we're talking multimillionaire streamers. I'm hoping she gets in contact with some of them and just explains the situation somehow and says like, hey, can you guys, possibly send that money back to me? Just how, look for this name, this account name that he uses, and if you got a donation from him, can you just refund that, please? And I think it would be good PR if these streamers did that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I hate being that guy, but I do put partial blame on the mom because, I mean, like you said, you check your bank account every day.
I do, and I don't even have kids.
Part of the burden is on her because that's something that if your kid has access to your bank account, which I don't think they should begin with, you might want to keep an eye on it.
Oh my god, though, this was one of the weirdest stories to hear, and so many other people covered it in the YouTube sphere. Tipster covered it. Tipster News, he's a YouTube channel here on YouTube. Go check him out, by the way, for everybody listening. Really solid news that's delivered pretty regularly. And not only did he do it, but the Quartering and I think a few others covered this when it first initially dropped. And again, initially I was like, is this some kind of troll? Like, because again, I cannot picture that. A parent allowing that money to be spent. It's again,
it's an insane amount.
It's insane. I wouldn't even. I think once in my life when I was little, I stole $1 from my dad and gave it back to him, and he slapped me in the hand. And it wasn't like bad. It was a hold out your hand. He braced it with his hand, wound up, swung it a couple times, and smashed down. And I was like 5. I got the picture. And that was one of the nice, and because I was younger, he considered that one of the nicer treatments. As I got older, it got like more and more, like he leveled up. Hello?
Oh no, sorry, I was just looking at something.
Oh, okay.
But no, I mean, I don't think I ever stole from my parents. My dad, he was military. He got medically retired from the military after 22 years of service. So the only time I've ever gotten that rough was I skipped school for a week, and Mom made him come home because he worked 4 hours away. That was not a drive he was looking forward to, and that was not Dad coming home that I was looking forward to.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, it's just, I can't picture what the hell this kid was thinking. Especially if you're an old, like, I can imagine, like, a younger kid being, like, this feels very nefarious on the kid's part. Like, this was planned, he thought about it, he calculatingly stole the information, didn't tell his mother, spent the money like it was going out of style. This kid was a little shit, and I honestly hope he gets punished hard. Like, oh my fucking god.
yeah, I mean, like I said, yeah, that would not be a happy end in my house.
Yeah, I can't picture what this kid was thinking. Real quick, let's address the chat though. Welcome to the stream, Billy Mount, Zerius, Luton was here earlier. I don't see any new. Oh no, there he is. Hey Luton, what's up, man? Zaitin or Zeton, welcome to the stream. Giorgio, yeah, welcome to the stream. 20k, that would translate to a lot of cans of beer. Yeah, that'd be quite a bit. Calkiel, yeah, welcome to the stream, and Fire Warrior, and George. Think that's everybody? Yep. Nope, Psycho Pomp. Sorry, I almost missed you, man. But welcome to all to the stream, and to the podcast. So, any final thoughts on this kid? This kid stealing? Like, let's be straight. Stealing money from his family.
I mean, all joking aside, I really hope they don't kill the kid. But it wouldn't surprise me at $20,000. I'd be like,
For a lot of people, that's a lot of food. That's a lot of living expenses.
For me, that costs as much as the house I'm living in.
It's just Jesus. Giorgio says, by the way, just call me Greg. Okay, I'll call you Greg if you prefer. Sorry if I can't get your name right. I'm terrible with the accent marks, and I'm a typical American in that sense.
Kenneth Robinson says 20k. My parents would have blood eagled me. And I really wish I didn't know what that means, but I do.
You've seen Vikings too?
Not from Vikings. It was on 1,000 Ways to Die, but it was a Viking that did it on 1,000 Ways.
Yeah, because it was
his brother.
If I recall correctly, it was a Viking punt. It was like an ultimate way to go out for a Viking culture. Basically, like, as they rip out your fucking like shoulder blades and shit, and peel your flesh off your back, you're not allowed to scream, and if you do, you can't enter Valhalla. That's like hardcore as fuck.
So it might be something different then, because the way I remember is they like cut slits right beside the shoulder blades and pull the lungs out your back.
It might have been that. I don't know the exact procedure. I just know they flay you from the back, they pull something out, and the reason they call it blood eagling is because it looks like you just grew wings. Yeah.
And I'll say this, because I was saying to be an EMT, that would be a really shitty way to go.
Yeah. Alright, so since we zoomed through that topic and we agree it's just insanity.
Yes.
That's all done and done. Philip. Now then, this next one, I don't know how much you'll have to say about, but it's the Philip Mewson coming back. Now, do you remember him?
No, we talked about this a little bit.
Yeah, we did a little bit.
I don't really know who he is now.
Okay, so best way to describe it is he was a IGN contributor, and he worked on articles and things like that, and he was known for doing game reviews. And he would even put them up on the official IGN website as, official reviewed videos for them, and they, everything would be edited up and put together well. And he got caught plagiarizing. And the thing is, he got caught plagiarizing a YouTuber. And people looked back in his repertoire of reviews, and apparently he'd been doing it constantly. He had been plagiarizing left and right, which in journalism is a cardinal sin. Like,
yeah,
this is the worst you can do in this specific line of profession. You can never work again as a journalist if you plagiarize even once. Like, a single sentence that you officially put up as and represented as your own work, and it's discovered as plagiarized, that's it. That's your reputation tarnished. No one will ever trust you again. It's over. Done and done. And this guy is back. Because he claimed left and right, like, oh, no, I didn't plagiarize. I understand there's similarities. And even after he was fired and all that went down, he finally admitted, 2 years ago. He's like, all right, yeah, I did it. And then he went quiet for a while. Not that he hasn't been uploading to his own YouTube channel. He has, but...
how much of that is plagiarized?
I have no idea. But he's been relatively quiet. But recently, I think it's within this last week, he came back out of nowhere and re-reviewed the game that got him caught plagiarizing. And I hear it's well reviewed, and I hear that it's a well put together video, and so far nobody has seen anything similar to it, so it's not a plagiarized work, at least that they can tell. But the thing is, people are perceiving it very much as his attempt to get back into the industry, and if it is, he is being he's being an idiot if he's hoping to get back in the industry with this. Because he already plagiarized. It's over. That's fucking it. That's the end. That's done and done. You cannot come back from that.
I do think him doing the same game that got him caught plagiarizing is just the absolute dumbest thing he could have done.
Well, the idea, I think he was doing it intentionally because he was trying to go like, oh, hey, look, I've changed. I've improved. It's like, yeah, but you did it. It's like, oh, you murdered somebody. Yeah, I've improved. I've gone through therapy. Great. That doesn't mean people want to welcome you back into the same town you murdered the guy in.
No, and I get that. And there, I hate saying, but there's kind of a fine line with that because there are examples of people doing. And I'm not saying plagiarism is a small thing. But there are people
in the grand scheme of things, it is small. But if we're looking at like the whole of the industry, it's the cardinal sin.
Yeah. But like, I mean, look at some of the stuff people just alone, like in the 40K community, people we've both seen do years ago, and it's just like, nah, okay, you were an idiot. Then you're not really doing the same shit anymore. Nah, leave it alone.
Yeah, but you also gotta find. I think like in every industry, there's got to be that fine line. That one thing everybody can agree is like this is too far, and this is where you can't go. And,
no, I absolutely agree with that.
And not being a journalist, I can't say like why that's considered the. Well, I can understand like I understand the factual reasoning, but why it's so integral, I guess, is because journalists like to tote the idea that everything they put out is super factual and super reliable in their own opinions and their own perspective, and they don't want that to be perceived as anything else.
Yeah,
but when it comes to game journalism, I think people take it I think general people don't take it seriously. And the thing is, I don't even think I think games journalists like to look like they're taking it seriously, but I think overall, it's a lot less like important or.
I mean, not to be that dick, but really, games journalists are just glorified paid YouTubers.
They pretty much are. It is a glorified. And the thing is, even though they have an audience they're supposed to be catering to, they constantly give that audience the middle finger. Like, how many times have games journalists been like, gamers? Well, a bunch of gamers are absolutely losing their shit over this completely progressive idea. It's like, you're completely misrepresenting. Like, the whole Diablo Immortal shit. Like, oh, a bunch of gamers are insulting Blizzard at their own convention and are saying horrible shit to them at their own convention. And then they said shit like, this convention wouldn't even exist if it weren't for Blizzard. It's like, no, it wouldn't exist if it weren't for us, you motherfuckers.
Yeah. Really big. I think
who gave them the money? Who gave them the capital to make this convention? Who showed up to the convention to give it purpose?
Yeah, absolutely. Because, I mean, like, something that I believe a lot of companies forget, and me and you have both seen it, Blizzard, with Games Workshop, with EA, you can name off probably any gaming company. They take the customers for granted.
Yeah, and it's getting worse. The thing is, if we look back in the past, we look at like Blizzard back in like the early 2000s, 90s. If we look at Bungie back then, if we look at a lot of the companies we like quite a bit,
not making me feel old.
It's not that far back, and it's like
I
what,
remember
15 years
Blizzard
ago.
in the early '90s.
I remember Blizzard in the early '90s. Well, I was born in '99, but
I remember them before I was born.
Well, I grew up with a lot. I grew up in an '80s style household. Everything was old, and even our magazines were old. So I felt like I was living through those times. I literally was playing the games from such a young age as well. Like I was a level 60 warrior in World of Warcraft by the time I was 8. So
I'm gonna give a little sneak peek because I mentioned this in my It's kind of like it's a lore video, but not a lore video that I have coming out in about a week and a half. I mentioned my my history with games, and it's for those of you who are way too young to remember what the hell these are. When games wanted to see what the consumers thought about, they would release a demo tip, and to kind of give away this, I had the original StarCraft demo disc and had it beat. I think I was like 5 years old. I was either 5 or 6. So it's like, yeah, I feel old now.
Don't worry about it.
I'm a sad person right now.
Well, good news is you don't look a day over 20.
That's a lie.
I didn't say I was truthful all the time. Sometimes it's just nice. No, but you look great for your age. Don't stress too much about it.
Honestly, I just need to shave. That's what it is.
I will never shave for the rest of my life. Nino Keurig in the chat says Blizzard stole everything from Warhammer 40K. That's factually incorrect. That's factually StarCraft 100%. That is 100% stolen. There's no doubt about that. But
no. So actually, that's not even factually correct. That was back and forth because originally, I want to think it was both StarCraft and Warcraft, but it might actually be the Blizzard Trinity. It might be all three of them. But I know at least Warcraft and StarCraft were supposed to be Warhammer and 40K games respectively, and the original people from Blizzard split off from GW. And then what ended up happening, they took it kind of cartoony with Warcraft and not so much with StarCraft. But when they started getting bigger back in the early 90s, then GW started taking ideas from Warcraft and StarCraft. So it was completely back and forth.
Yeah, you can definitely tell that with some of the recent stuff from GW, like that turret, that Arch pointed out. Yeah, that's straight from the fucking StarCraft game. But at the same time, the initial concept for StarCraft though was it was going to be a 40K RTS. Yeah. And then I don't know. Again, to this day, I still don't know who dropped the ball or who said no. Was it Blizzard who said no? We want to go our own route, or was it GW saying we don't want to give you the rights to this?
I think
I still don't fucking know.
If what I remember is right, I think it was a combination of GW didn't want to give them the rights and wanted to publish it themselves after the company that became Blizzard made it. They essentially said, you did all the work, but we'll take it from you. If I remember right.
I cannot confirm or deny that. I don't have the information in front of me. That's the downside. But, yeah, running with that. Let's see. Well, since we're already talking about 40K, I guess that kind of naturally transitions to our next topic. Traitors and loyalists flipping sides. You wanted to bring this one up.
Oh, yes. This was mentioned in your Q&A stream, and this is actually something now, to understand, I only put 30 minutes into this, but I do plan on actually doing this lore video, and I'm about ready to trigger everyone. So
he already got me going before the stream, so
so let's talk about the big part of it. So I'm going to do this in a way similar to Tactica Imperialis. As much as I don't like him as a person, he does good videos. So I'm going to start off with who I think the War Master would be, and who would be like the four primary Chaos Legions. For instance, like the World Eaters, Emperor's Children, Thousand Sons, and Death Guard. So to get this one out of the way, because I know Asmogon's going to love this, I gave the Imperial Fist to Nurgle.
Yeah, I don't agree with that, but feel free to explain.
Out of all the Loyalists, they made the most sense because they specialize in siege, attack, and defense. So almost kind of like a stagnation, a resistance, and that really does fall under Nurgle's domain. Outside of them, I could see maybe the Iron Hands or the Salamanders, but the Iron Hands, they focus too much on changing their own bodies through bionics. The Salamanders focus too much on fire, so I had to give it to the Imperial Fist. Tzeentch gets the Dark Angels.
Right? I could see that.
Well, I was between them and the White Scars, and I had to end up giving it to the Dark Angels. So I'm like, nah, they're sneaky little shits. They go to Tzeentch.
Yeah, I don't say the White Scars quite fitting with Tzeentch.
The only way I put a link to the White Scars was their psychers, their librarians. But that was me grasping at straws. I'm like, nah, Dark Angels.
Yeah.
So here's the one that's going to trigger everyone. This is actually one of my least favorite legions, and I gave them to Slaanesh, and that's the Space Wolf.
You gave the Space Wolves to Slaanesh?
And I can defend this too.
I'll hear you out before I threaten to disembowel you.
So they're the ones that celebrate through drinking. They believe in. They have these old Viking-like customs. They really overdo almost everything. So they have the excess, the debauchery, and there's even some old lore that says they're one of the only legions that can have sex. I mean, they're going to Slaanesh. Sorry, they just are. There's no better fit for Slaanesh out of the old loyalists.
But the Space Wolves are a very honorable chapter. They're a very stalwart chapter. Though they live in excess, there isn't actually that much sexual debauchery in any of the chapters.
No, I absolutely agree. There isn't, but it's not just about sexual debauchery, like you said.
I know, but that's a big part of it. And in terms of the other excess, I can see your point there. But I really think their bloodlust in battle, it far outweighs anything they've ever done in terms of excess. I think they far more fit with Khorne. They're the chapter that gets the most berserker out of all of them. So in terms of battle rage and battle ferocity, that they even have a mutation with their gene seed that turns them into part wolves that are even more aggressive.
I would agree with you except for one thing, and that's who I actually did give to Khorne. It's the Blood Angels. Because there's rumors that they've already been tainted by Khorne through the Red Thirst. Now, that's neither confirmed nor denied that it was Khorne that actually did it. But because I'm giving someone to each of the Chaos Gods, I felt the Blood Angels were a better fit to Khorne, with the Space Wolves going to Slaanesh, just based on, one, there was no one else who I could really give to Slaanesh. The example given by Tactica Imperialis was the Ultra Smurfs, and I'm like, no. And like for Khorne, you honestly could have either the Space Wolves or the Blood Angel. But again, when it comes down to it, everyone only gets one. Which brings me to the War Master. This is the one that's going to trigger everyone.
You keep saying that.
Oh no! Trust
this
me,
is going to be the one that triggers everyone.
This is going to be the one that's going to piss a lot of people off because everyone hates it. I gave the War Master to Guilliman. I'm not proud of that. I hate the Ultra Smurfs.
You think you're funny? You think you're really funny?
No, see, this is what I was talking about. So here's my logic.
Fuck that fucking blue toilet bowl piece of shit. Fuck him.
I agree with that. I agree 100% with that logic. I agree absolutely that Guilliman is overrated. He's a fucking little shit that they only brought back because he's blue and everyone likes the blue boys. But no, so here's why I give him War Master. And this was something that I did have to take a little while to think about. And originally I was going to give it to Sanguinius, but I gave the Blood Angels to Khorne, so that would have been a hard sell. It had to be someone for Chaos Undivided. And I could see a corrupted Guilliman using the outlandish numbers of the Ultramarines and the Ultramar Empire to essentially bully the other ones under his control.
He already kind of did that.
So that was the
post-heresy.
Yeah. So I mean, I gave it to him based on that. Like, okay, who could be War Master? Well, Guilliman has the strength to do it. Sanguinius would probably be the best War Master out of all of them. But because again, Blood Angels went to Khorne, goes to Guilliman. And honestly, if we're doing so in the actual Horus Heresy, the Imperial Fist built up Terra. They built up the defenses of Terra. I switched them out for Perturabo and the Iron Warriors. I switched out the Loyalist leader from, I believe it was actually Rogel Dorn, to Horus Lupercal. And then there was something else that I didn't consider. And do you remember about the Webway project?
Yeah, well, yeah, I think everybody does. It's one of the key elements that influence the Horus Heresy, and if the Emperor hadn't left his legions, would Horus have fallen into chaos? Would there have been a lot of drama? And everybody knows his reason why he left, and that's one of the core tragedies of the Horus Heresy, is that the Emperor was working on a project, on the Webway project, which would have completely cut humanity off the reliance of the warp, which would have, I think everybody knows the Webway project.
So not the only reason, but the main reason the Webway project went in the toilet was because of Magnus. I can comfortably say no one on the flip side is as powerful as Psyker as Magnus. So I don't think they'd be able to break through it. And there's actually a chance the Emperor would be able to complete the Webway project. And essentially what it would do is it would allow for instantaneous transport to other human worlds. So early on in this, it could be used as both an offensive and defensive measure. So taking all that into account again in the course of 30 minutes, I honestly think I don't think the Emperor would be killed. And I would be hard pressed. I would have to do a lot more research on this, but I'd be really hard pressed to see any of the now loyalist Primarchs die. Maybe Kurz, because Kurz is a little bit spazzy, but outside of that, I see this one as being a near fully quote-unquote loyalist victory.
I'd still think, as much as I hate Guilliman, I do have to acknowledge his combative strength and his strategic strength. With Rogel Dorn also having held back Horus and the Traitors Legions in our canon lore, with him on the Traitors side working alongside, let's assume they both become Demon Princes.
Okay.
With Rogel strategizing on the Traitors Legion side, again, having held back the forces of the Loyalists, I think a corrupted version of Rogel would know how to break any defense. Any defense that Horus would be able to put up, because Horus's weakness is that he's an assault leader. He's a frontal combative. He doesn't do defensive strategy, and since there are no majorly defensive strategic points in the loyalist side of this theory, I think. Well, Perturabo is no, and I think people have discussed this at length, but Perturabo I don't think is at the same level as Rogel.
I don't think he is in the canonical lore, but again, going on the assumption that the Loyalists and Traitors flip, and having all... I mean, I hate saying this way, but having all the former Traitors' egos stroked in the way they need to be to stay loyal, I think that he could be a match for Rogel Dorn, because his biggest thing is he was so full of self-doubt and so petulant. He wanted to be the victim. He wanted to be like, no, nothing I ever do is good enough. So I believe if through machinations of the Emperor and through Horus, if he can get over that, I believe 100% he'll be on the level of Rogel Dorn.
I don't know about that. I think that level of insecurity would still carry over, even if he remained loyal. But going for the sake of the argument, let's say he did, I'd say they'd probably be an even match. But I think Rogel would still be able to subvert Perturabo's defenses.
I think he potentially could, but
probably not in every battle, that's for sure.
No.
I think several battles it would be a stalemate because it's two immovable objects smashing against each other.
Oh yeah.
So it's inherently going to have a lot of stalemates and stagnation, but I think one of them would start to crumble at times more so than the other. I think Rogel, even in his traitor's form, would still find ways to subvert Perturabo's defenses and probably play on his old insecurities.
And also something else I took into account was I also did this in the sense of like a huge battle like the Siege of Terra. And do I think the Imperial Fist could go toe to toe with the Iron Warriors any day of the week? Absolutely. But do I think they would be able to win a huge siege like the Siege of Terra? I don't think so. I think there's just too much. I mean, them alone, no. But if I smash all of the now traitors against all the now loyalists, I think they're going to do a lot of damage. I just don't think they're going to win. I really don't. Part of the problem on the defense side, you have the Death Guard. They don't move. They don't move ever. You have the Emperor's Children, who they take pride in being the best, which is essentially part of what became their downfall. But if that gets tempered to where they don't do that, and you have them, the Death Guard, and the Iron Warriors as your primary defensive force, that's a hard line to break. Just look at canonically Istvan 3 and how hard Horus threw the traitors against the loyal.
A lot of this, though, is reliant on the idea that, unlike with Horus's betrayal, Guilliman would be a lot more overt and would not have taken measures. Because the thing is, with Horus and the reason the Horus Heresy was so divisive and so crippling was his very brutal strategies. He was pre-planning the Horus Heresy decades before he ever turned cloth. He had sent away the lion. He had moved and placed all of the pieces on the board because he controlled the whole board at the time. He placed the pieces that threatened his reign and threatened his regime, and he placed them as far away as possible. I think if, as you say, the War Master Robert Guilliman would be now leading the traitors, I think he would still be just as strategic about it.
Yeah.
I think he would still divide up the forces. He would still find ways to divvy up everybody and leave the loyalists ununited. That's just a basic strategy of conflict, especially when you control both sides for a period of time. So right. So
use the restroom?
Huh?
Can I have 1 second to go use the restroom?
Oh yeah, sure. I'll address the chat.
Sorry.
Well, let's welcome some new people who might have hopped in while we were talking. Nino Kurek, you were there earlier, but I don't think I welcomed you. Acerbic, Nigel Wright, Riddler, Debino, welcome as always. Brother Calkiel, oh no, I did welcome you. Sorry about that. Well, double welcome. You're welcome again, my friend. And is that everybody new? Acerbic, Captain UFO, welcome to the stream. Aussie Python, welcome as well. And I think that's all the people who jumped in while we were talking. But yeah, welcome. Lorgar as cannon fodder outside the palace. Oh, damn. Robutian Heresy, check it out. Is that a book? You mentioned that before, but is it a book or is it a... Because it doesn't matter if it is a book. I'll most likely... Actually, that could be a good content for a channel. I'll do an audiobook of reading the Robutian Heresy, if that's a book. If it's something else, I can still check it out. And demons are fucked. Yeah. Hey, Incinera's Red, welcome to the stream. Yeah, we just got the podcast going. My co-host is running to the bathroom while I chat up you beautiful people. for a few moments while I wait for him to return. You're the real Chi3. You're welcome to the stream.
I apologize for that.
No, it's okay. Welcome back. Just welcoming. We have about 40 people watching us right now. Well,
nice.
38. It was 40 for a second there, but pretty cool. Let's see. So yeah, like I said, the Robert fuck it, I'll call him what I like to call him. Girly Man. Girly Man would have taken steps just like Horus to divvy up the loyalist forces. In what way, we can theorize that all day long. But I do believe he would have taken steps to divide them and left them in a semi-crippled state like Horus did. So that would lead to just as much of a fraying of the loyalist forces versus the traitor forces. Just as much so. Would it have resulted in the death of a Primarch, like the betrayal that occurred with the Horus Heresy and with Fulgrim? I don't know. Possibly. I wouldn't. It's kind of hard to really narrow down who that would be, though. You know, who would get their heads sliced off.
And again, now don't take any. Now I could actually research this for probably about a month or two and then come up with a video and have completely different results. But just looking at it really quickly for about 30 minutes, I would think Guilliman, because none of the Primarchs are stupid. I do think one of the best strategists among the Primarchs is Horus. And
he's a genius with assault strategies, with combat. Yep. When it comes to defensive strategy, like as Horus himself said, if it was him versus Rogel Dorn, it would be an unstoppable force versus an immovable object. That's how we always describe their relationship. And that's why Horus was such an effective leader for the traitors when that whole thing started.
And I think something that Guilliman would know and he would take advantage of is they do have the numbers advantage. That's why I could see him just bull rushing the mass of the traitors. And again, this is also assuming they don't go through something like Isfahan 3 where they essentially cut their legion down to about a third. This is assuming the full numbers too. If I took that into account, that could absolutely change everything. That would require me to have to research all the Primarchs, which is going to suck.
Yeah. This is something people have probably been debating for a long time.
So to my knowledge, I've seen two different videos. One from Tactica Imperialis, one from 40k Theories. The Tactica Imperialis one gave Sanguinius War Master, and the 40k Theories gave it to Rogel Dorn. So, based on Sanguinius believing he wasn't the right man for the job, so he ended up passing it over and letting it go to Dorn. So, I mean, there's a lot to take into account there. I mean, I said,
there's quite a bit to take into account with this whole thing.
This is just a cursory 30-minute. Here's the numbers. Here's in 30 minutes what I think would happen. Again, if I research this whole thing, my answer could easily change. I might go. The justification for Tactica Imperialis, he gave Nurgle the Iron Hands. He gave Slaanesh the Ultramarines. I think he gave Tzeentch either the Dark Angels or the Raven Guard. Khorne got the Space Wolves, and the War Master went to Sanguinius. I mean, and that all makes sense. Well, given the Ultramarines to Slaanesh, he kind of had a loose argument for that, basically because like how Guilliman wrote the Codex Astartes, he's all about stringent rules and stuff like that, and the excess of the rules. Like that means Slaanesh. Like, I have a better argument for Space Wolves with Slaanesh. Not a strong argument, but I think a better argument. So it's just really, again, I could even change, like, given the Imperial Fist to Nurgle, I could go hands. I could probably actually go. I think the only other one would be Salamanders, but I don't really see that happening either.
Yeah, it's really hard to like really break down because the thing is the theory's so loaded. Because you gotta factor in like all the Primarchs. How many would all the Primarchs and their whole legion turn, or would some of them be like, I don't want to be a part of this and leave?
What? One thing I would do. Who's that one Ultramarine that everyone hates? He's an Ultramarine captain.
Other than Girly Man?
Yeah, no, he's a captain.
I don't remember. Captain Diomedes? Diomedes?
No, he's Blood Raven.
No, not him. No, that's the one I hear all the time.
Because they make fun of him in text-to-speech device too. The Emperor had text-to-speech device.
Yeah, I'm drawing a blank.
On that one. Like the first thing I would do, and just because I hate that character, is I would kill him off.
Oh wait, Acerbic just made a really good point. Yeah, that's right. If Rogul had gone towards traitor, that means that such a good. Oh, that completely changes shit. I think that would be a complete loyalist, Horus loyalist death, because if Rogul Dorn turned over the phalanx, to the forces of chaos, that would be brutal. Because the phalanx is a really powerful floating fortress.
Cato Sicarius. Yes, Cato Sicarius would die.
Cato Sicarius. Okay.
And I don't.
So a bunch of new people just joined the chat. Welcome all. Wolfenbach, Kenneth. No, I welcomed Kenneth earlier. Sinistrocorpsman. You welcome. Nam, welcome as always. And Ball. I don't think I welcomed you earlier, but welcome.
Yeah, because I don't care who I don't care how I would kill him. I just know I would kill him. There's an Ultramarine who doesn't exist yet. His name is Cato Sicarius, and Orc Rock fell on him.
A Orc Rock fell on him?
Why? The stars just lined up that way that day, I guess. I don't. Look, it's better writing than GW.
That's true.
That was me.
We'll probably save this. We'll probably save this for the next episode of the podcast. But I'd be interested to get your thoughts on Erda, unless you want to put one of the current topics we have off till next time. If you want to talk about that,
we can put off the Mechanicus thing. My thoughts on Erda is really quick and simple and to the point. I think that's a mistake.
Yeah, it's just.
They're rewriting a key piece of lore that they don't need to.
And the thing is, they added so much that makes no sense. Like, think about it like this. We went from having this strategic plot by the Chaos Gods to send the Primarchs away, and you could argue that they 4D chessed that they intentionally corrupted just the right Primarchs to throw the universe into chaos just at the right time, and that this was this genius strategy that the Emperor could not have prepared for, and it was all pre-plotted by the Chaos Gods. We went from that to, nope! Woman unhappy with the custody rights.
No, I was
Toss the children.
I was going to say, mommy slapped daddy at the dinner table.
It's pretty much it. She sent her own children through hell, pretty much, to spite the Emperor.
Yeah, so here's my philosophy. I have a really simple philosophy for shit like that. If it doesn't make sense, and I think we can all agree that doesn't make sense.
It doesn't, because someone with her level of intellect and her closeness with the Emperor, she had to have known that the Immaterium existed and it was a form of hell. It's not like she didn't know.
But so here's what I do. Erda does not exist. Well, Erda can exist in the sense that I believe she was a geneticist that helped the Emperor. And I'll even give it, maybe he used her genetic code so the Primarchs weren't carbon copies of him. But that's about it. That's all I'm going to give that one. The rest of it, like her sending the 20 Primarchs to the world, no, that's bullshit. No, technically the Chaos Gods and Lorgar did that. Thank you, Lorgar.
Yeah, it's...
Which, by the way, so everyone says blame Lorgar. Fuck that. I blame Erebus.
I blame Erda with the newest info. As much as I want to ignore that whole part about her sending her own children through the warp, which, by the way, if she's powerful enough of a perpetual to create an opening into the Immaterium and toss her own children in, I have questions. Like a lot of them.
I just got this image of her standing there with the paw. It's just like, open the warp, toss. Toss.
1, 2, 3.
Oh, look! I got 18 through. What am I going to do with the last one? Click. Found out how the 2 lost Primarchs died. Mommy ran out of time to get him to the warp.
With how badly the writing is, I wouldn't be surprised.
That's better. That would be fucking so much better than anything I could do. What's the story of how the 2 lost Primarchs died? Mommy ran out of time and just killed them herself.
I would not be surprised if GW pulled that. Completely ignore the fact that, Leman Russ himself said that he had killed Primarchs before the Horus Heresy.
Yeah.
Completely ignoring that whole tidbit, yeah.
And this is also why, and anyone who watches my channel will kind of get this. I tend to focus on 30k because that's better written. Early 30k is better written.
Yeah, it's back when GW gave a shit.
Yeah, it's when they started to stop giving a shit. But the Horus Heresy itself, so you do have things in 40k, like the War for Armageddon, the Siege of Rex, the Badab War. They're all good. They are really good. But they just can't compete to the Horus Heresy as far as style. That's when Space Marines first turned against Space Marines. That's when it was taboo. So, yeah, I'm a little bit biased.
Yeah. Jinga Ninja just joined. Hello there. Welcome.
Oh, Jinja Ninja.
Jinja Ninja.
Yeah.
Welcome.
How's it going, Jinja Ninja?
Oh, is he from your channel?
He is from my channel.
Well, welcome to the podcast. We will be doing these every Wednesday, by the way. And this is just a quick interlude. For everybody who's in the stream right now, we're going to be doing these every Wednesday, assuming, Ludus doesn't, plan on assassinating me at some point. And, no,
it's the other way around for giving the Space Wolves to slide.
Yeah, watch your back. That's all I'll say. Check your mirrors.
I'm already blind. It wouldn't be that hard.
Damn. Hold on. Wait, what? Oh, Alex Marchenko, you didn't know about this? Yeah. This was recently updated this year. In March of 2020, GW released a book where they revealed that the Primarchs have a genetic mother. That donated her genetic codes to the Emperor to essentially water down the Primarchs, so they weren't carbon copies and clones of himself. And she's the one who sent all the Primarchs to the warp. It wasn't this grand 4D chess scheme by the Chaos Gods. It was just I don't get custody of the kids, so I'm gonna essentially almost kill the kids by tossing them into the warp and crossing my fingers.
Because smart.
Because someone who's clearly smart enough to genetically design essentially demigods is somehow so fucking dumb that she believed her kids would just, they'll survive the warp. No risks. Now I know they did, but you're sending your own children who you claim to care about, and that's your whole motivation. It's your whole motivation right now. And you're sending them through hell.
Real quick, Asterbic asked a good question. Will Sigismund replace Abaddon, Garrow, or Karn? Honestly, he would probably replace Typhon. Because damn, that's a hard one. He would either replace Garrow and stay loyal, or he would replace Typhus and constantly get in a bitching fit with Dorn. I don't know, I'm going to give it to either. Yeah, he'd be either the Garrow or the Typhus.
Yeah, I feel so bad revealing this to you, Alex Marchenko. I really do, because I have the reaction of me finding out about this on a previous live stream I do on my channel. I was playing StarCraft. I don't know if it was the last episode or the one before it, but somewhere in there at some point somebody told me to check out Erda, and I read the Lexiconum entry, which was short, but it gave the rundown of who Erda is. and oh my god, it was the most utter shit I've ever read. It's just, oh wow, you completely destroyed the entirety of the backbone of this universe in a single Lexiconum entry.
Yeah.
Like, I cannot picture the book being able to describe that, and I don't care how much detail they throw it in throughout the pages of that book. I don't care what they did. There's no way that they were able to make that sound good. No way. Fuck that.
Well, they made it sound good in their own in their own minds. Inclusivity. It's more women.
Oh yeah, and apparently Astartes are named after a woman named Astarte who was also helping the Emperor genetically make these things. I shit you not.
No, I know. I saw it. It's just sometimes you gotta be like, you just gotta pat him on the head and be like, yes, you go ahead and believe. You're smart. You're real smart. And everyone's just sitting here like, do they not realize they're the butt end of the joke this time?
They don't see it. They're so conceited in their own minds. They're so like, yeah, I'm right. This is a good story. Everybody's gonna like this, and those who don't are bigots. That's what they're thinking up there. There's nothing else going on in that head of theirs. By the way, found your channel through Arch. So do I just go and burn my old codexes and my 30k heresy looks now because it's all useless? What? No.
If there, so this is again, and this is kind of what I said before. If there's part of the lore that you like, keep it.
Yeah.
Keep it as you like it.
Just keep in mind, nothing going forward is going to improve the universe if they keep Erda canon. So just keep what you've known up to this point in your head canon, and just forget that GW is even updating this. Just call it quits. Well, not call it quits, but call it like I will now not. Trust me, if GW does end up saying, "Oh, the Erda thing was actually just kind of like an anthology myth or something," I'll report on that instantly and say, "Okay, good. The bullet's not dodged. We got hit by it, but we healed. The wound's closing." But that's the most we can hope for. Unfortunately. But yeah, obviously don't actually like burn your old codexes and shit. Like, I don't know where you got that from what I said.
So yeah, I'll say, like, for me, I like, now again, I said I'm not a big fan of 40k, but one of the reasons I really like Arch is I like his storytelling style. So I really love like his Siege of Rex series, his Wars for Armageddon series. So if there's something you like, be it through a YouTuber, through looking up the lore yourself, through the miniatures, stick with it.
Yeah, and that's with all fandoms, by the way. Like, the Star Wars fandom. Everybody's like, sequel trilogy don't exist, and apparently Disney's about to agree with that. Like, yeah, we agree that doesn't exist either.
We fucked up.
I hope that's true. I believe it's just a rumor, though. But, by God. Yeah, George, I already mentioned the woman named Astarte. And her name is Astarte, not Astartes, but it's implied that the Astartes are named after her. Which isn't anywhere near as bad as the Erda stuff. Like, I'm not against that, actually. I don't care that she's a woman and they're named after that. I don't care. Yeah. I mean, that's fine. It's the Erda stuff that pisses me off. Because there's nothing wrong with the Astarte stuff, though. Not inherently. I think, though, because that couples with the Erda stuff, I do hate it. But, again, it's the Erda stuff that I hate, not really that. I don't care what the gender of the person who inspired the name is. I don't care. It's like, cool, this person's named after this perpetual. Fine, makes sense. We'll run with it. But the Erda stuff no, fuck that. I think I lost my train of thought. Fuck.
I did see someone up in the chat. I like this. Let me see if I can find it again. It was funny because it was talking about the Erda thing. No, that's the Cato Sicarius. Okay. Erda. Okay, 18 tossed into the warp. Now I need a snack. Eat the last two. And that was by Ball.
Love you, Ball. You always bring in the best comments.
I was just sitting here like, yeah, that wouldn't surprise me either.
Ball also said, Perpetual cannot open a warp portal, so she must have been a Psyker as well. I think that was implied, that she was not just a Perpetual, but, yeah. again, that part of it is just so, like, it's a giant middle finger. It's like, oh yeah, let's just toss my own children into hell. This makes perfect sense.
It's like one thing for Magnus to do like world-breaking shit. That's because he is considered one of the most powerful psychers in the whole 40K universe. But to do something on that scale, it's just like, oh, no.
Yeah. It's just, by the way, just to let everybody know real quick, off topic, but the overlay you guys are seeing is not like the permanent one. This is what we're going with for now. It might end up being the one we stick with, but Ludus has a friend who's also making one for us, and we're going to see if we like that one better. I threw this one together pretty quickly, though, so I might edit it a little bit, might update it a little bit. Seeing that your Astartes icon is a little bigger than I think I pictured. I think it's
it's fine.
It's hitting your face a bit more than I intended.
I can hide behind it.
She's like, no, don't recognize me.
Actually, I leaned the wrong way. The thing is, I'm looking at it and it actually flipped. It like flipped the way I'm looking at my camera. So the left on the stream is actually the right in the face cam. So I'm like, which way? Which way?
Yeah. Acerbic just pointed out two things. One in an earlier comment and one just now. Acerbic says, Astarte is a goddess name. I'm assuming real world, or is this in the 40K mythos? I don't know. But Astartes, Astartes is a goddess name. The Emperor forbids all religion. It's already wrong. Yeah, but if it's the name of a perpetual, I don't think, like, if one of his perpetuals happened to be named Hera, I don't think there'd be anything wrong with, naming a genetic product that person worked with. Like, 'cause that happens all the time in science and in the field. Like, when someone invents something, their name usually gets attached to it. I don't think there's anything directly wrong with that. And if the person Astarte did have a large contribution to the genetic setup for the Astartes, I'm not opposed to the naming convention idea. Because again, the Emperor himself has made it pretty much clear he doesn't use his name, or at the very least, we don't see it anywhere in the lore. So I could see him like deferring to one of the other people on the other perpetuals, and using their names, if as kind of like not a reward, but kind of like a recognition, maybe. I don't know, but
you're gonna love who the Greek equivalent of Astarte is.
Who?
Aphrodite.
What?
Yeah.
It's weird.
The Greek equivalent. So Astarte is the goddess of hold on, I'm gonna pull it back up here.
Oh, she's a goddess of fertility. That kind of actually fits a little bit.
Fertility, sexuality, and war.
Kind of fits, to be honest. But yeah, I'm not against the Astarte naming idea. I don't care that it's a female character, but that doesn't like undo anything. That is like an addition. That doesn't undo anything, though. The Erda stuff undoes that whole concept of the Chaos Gods having pre-planned everything, and there's this big arcing, like, you could say that that the reason that they didn't just kill the Primarchs is they benefited from the chaos caused by the Horus Heresy and what happened in the future because of all the infighting, the rage, the fight. That probably upped Khorne because of the debauchery that might have been going on when the Traitor Legions first turned over. That could have probably bumped up Slaanesh. The changing of fates, just simply by the Horus Heresy occurring, probably gave Tzeentch a huge boost. A huge Tzeentch boner.
and let's not forget the death.
So all of that could have been
the wonderful thing of Isstvan 3 getting bombed with the
thank you, Alex Marchenko, for the $8. Was not serious about the book burning thing. I know. It was the metaphorical sense, but just really in shock. Like, what the fuck? I understand why Arch won't cover this in lore. Thanks, guys. Subbed. I much appreciate the sub, man. Thank you, and make sure to check out Ludus's channel. That's linked in a pinned comment of the stream. Make sure to check him out too. He's got his own channel. This podcast is something we do. I host it on my channel every Wednesday. But feel free to go check him out, and thank you very much for the $8. We very much appreciate it. And I'll take this real quick second to say that all donations that occur on these podcast streams, me and Ludus split them up. Obviously, the money comes to me at the end of the month, through the AdSense stuff. Once I thankfully, due to YouTube tells me what cut of this stuff I get, and I can do the math, and I divvy it between me and Ludus. So this is kind of a way for us both to benefit from these streams, even though it's hosted on my channel. So that's just something to mention. So all donations to these streams, part of it goes to Ludus, part of it goes to me, and whatever comes to me is pretty much going to be put into my Grimdark project.
And whatever comes to me goes into improving my channel, so it's not shit.
Your channel's not shit, man. But just keep that in mind, and thank you for any donations you guys generously provide. I appreciate it greatly, and so does Ludus. It's a great way to help support the stream. But anyway, that being said, where were we?
If you want, we can switch topics since we kind of went down the rabbit hole of Erda and Astarte.
Yeah, we did go down that a while. But yeah, I guess let me check what we had next on the docket, because I think that was it for 40K stuff. Oh no, that's right. Yeah. We have the Mechanicus if you still want to cover that. Yeah. But the next.
Benito Martinez jumped in and said, "Hey everyone, what did I miss?"
Hey, Benito, you missed a lot actually.
Yeah, we talked about a kid who's probably going to be killed within a week because he took $20,000 of his mom's saving and gave it to streamers.
Oh yeah, that was hilarious.
Talk about a game journo who plagiarized, who is now trying to come back.
Yeah, Philip Mewson.
And then I nerded out on 40K.
There was no I in that one.
True. We nerded out on 40K.
Well, we talked about traders and loyalists flipping sides, that whole concept, and we argued over like what made certain sense for certain chaos gods, that kind of thing. Feel free to rewatch the podcast after we're all said and done. You can watch all that in its beautiful glory as much as you want. But we're going to move on to the next topic, which is Halo Infinite. And the second part of this is kind of related. It's people complaining about Halo 3 dropping early. But first, let's cover the Halo Infinite. You said there was box art, right? I think I have that here.
You told me about the Halo 3 thing before stream, and I still laugh at it. That's the dumbest shit I've heard.
It is. It was the dumb. The thing is, for anyone who's seen Griffin Gaming, fucking awesome YouTuber, by the way. He's like the most snarky. Like, he's the most snarky person you ever hear. Just this, like, partially deadpan, just shitting on people who make dumb statements and dumb arguments. One of these days, I'm probably going to have a Griffin Gaming go down on my ass because I say some dumb shit sometimes. And that'll be hilarious. Because I won't even be mad about it. That'll be a good day. But yeah, he did a video recently where he showed a guy who was apparently a Halo YouTuber, somebody who covers this franchise regularly, and this guy was raging at the fact that, and he was actually angry at 343 for dropping Halo 3 in the PC and Master Chief Collection early by like 12 hours or something like that, like a day or so early, and he was angry. He was pissed. He was like, people have a set time. They want to play the game. I was like, well, listen, I get it if it's an MMO, if it's like a game where, there's a lot of PvP, there's a progress tree and you're trying to get ahead, get a competitive edge.
Yeah.
But this is Halo 3. There's no competitive, all the guns and everything are available from the get-go. Like,
I got an explanation for this. Oh some people are just OCD. When a company says it will be at this time, they expect it on the dot.
It's just ridiculous.
I mean, I liked what I said before stream. It's like you order a pizza, and they say it's going to take like an hour, and it only takes 30 minutes to get to your house. Are you really going to bitch about that? No, you're going to eat the pizza and be like, hey, it's here early.
Yeah, and the comparison that guy used was a cruise ship. Get this. He said it's like a cruise ship being scheduled to leave and set out for sail at like then like let's say like 12 o'clock the following day, and you pre-plan to be there right on time and you jump on and go on for the cruise, but then out of nowhere you get like an email notification and the ship is like, oh, we're leaving right now. It's like that does not work, because this video game is going to always be there. You can play it whenever the fuck you want.
Like to an extent, like my pizza analogy doesn't work because you're going to eat it and it's going to be gone. But yeah, my pizza analogy is better than that because the pizza gets to you earlier. You get the benefit of having the pizza earlier. You get to eat it quicker. Whereas with the cruise ship, once it's gone, it's gone.
Yeah, it won't be back. Not soon, anyway. So his analogy straight didn't work. Yeah, it was the dumbest comparison I've ever heard. I was like, dude, how far did you have to stretch in your fucking mind to think that made sense? Like, that was just retarded. Like, congratulations. And if anyone gets on my ass for using the word retarded, I have autism. I got called retarded my entire childhood. You know what? I'm not dead. My flesh is still on my body. I'm alive. So it's not going to hurt you.
I'm ADHD, and I also got called I'm severe ADHD, and I got called retarded too, to the point where in 3rd grade they're like, maybe he teachers were like, he needs to go in special needs classes. And I looked up at one of the teachers and I really didn't like him. I was like, you're just mad I'm smarter than you.
I had a few occasions like that. Rogel Dorn just joined the stream. Found your channel through Arch. I am loving the content and cannot wait to hear more about this Grimdark project. Looking forward to it, and keep up the great content. Thank you very much, man. I have a Q&A that I was doing. It's unlisted because I got to go through it and make sure I didn't reveal anything too in depth. Once I've gone through that and or edited it out, I will make it public again so people can watch through the whole thing. I don't think I said anything too bad though, and it won't take me too long to get through it. I think it's only a 2-hour stream, so I'll just listen to it while I work on other stuff. But as soon as possible, I'll get that back out to you guys in the public. It's just unlisted for right now until I can check that I know I didn't reveal anything that would affect legalities and the such.
The best part is talking about that real quick to kind of piggyback on that. Remember I told you I was editing a video last night?
Yeah, you were talking about you were editing a video where you were just talking about yourself, and you referred to it as a rant, which I thought was interesting because it didn't sound like a rant when you described it. Oh no, and I was like, and I was going through, I was like, this doesn't sound like a rant. Got to like the last half of it, and I started talking about the Warhammer community. I'm like, oh, there's the rant. It's like I knew there was a rant in there, and I was like, this is what I talk about. This is what. But there's a rant. Why am I forgetting what's in the rant? I don't know. And but I go into like the Warhammer community ripping itself apart, my time in the Warhammer community. For those of you who don't know, I have 15 years, give or take, doing stuff with the Warhammer community, be it through tabletop, through the lore, what have you. So I take what's going on with the Warhammer community right now kind of personal, because it's like 15 years and now it's just like this, we're going to tear it apart. Yeah, I take it personal. But yeah, it started off as a 35-minute video. I got down to like 28 minutes just editing out like Dead Space. And yeah, that it took me like about an hour and a half to edit the whole damn thing. I was like, oh my god, murder me now. Oh god. Man.
The good news is, at the same time, Kibbs was doing his fishing stream, and I would like pause it and then go watch him. I was there literally from 15 minutes before the stream till it ended. I just kept going back and forth. And on some level, I feel kind of sorry for him, but at the same time, I'm kind of happy for him, because now he's in a place where he can do more for his game, and that's just really awesome.
I think he got off easy. $4,000 just to stream fishing. Like, I get it; it's monotonous and annoying, but fuck it, I've been done. It's like, that's all you want me to do is torture myself by playing fishing in Nier? Fuck it. $4,000 it is.
Yeah, for 12 hours of fishing.
I get it. It's incredibly monotonous, but I've been paid less to do even more monotonous jobs. So I'd fucking do it.
That's absolutely fair.
So I'd fucking take $4,000 for that. Jesus. All right, so let me just catch up in the chat real quick, see if there's anything of note. At the top, George says 343 fucked up the Halo franchise. Remember that they put people that never heard of or knew anything about Halo thinking they could make a good game. I kind of feel bad for 343 a little bit because, think about it, they adopted the franchise. Bungie made it, they birthed it, they crafted it, they wrote it, they put every heart and soul into it. 343, it was put on their lap by Microsoft. It's like, hey, this is yours now. And think about it like this. Think about this amazing painted, amazing portrait. Like, just perfectly painted. Like Mona Lisa, but, like, better. Imagine that's just put on your lap, and then they're like, hey, there's this little corner we want you to add to, or we want you to add some stuff to the rest of it to kind of bring out even more flair. And you're a brand new artist fresh out of high school. And the thing... you got to feel bad for him a little bit. It's like you just have this huge responsibility dropped on your lap. And what did 343 do before Halo? Did they do anything before Halo?
Sure, let me look.
Because I don't think they did. I think that was literally they were created solely to work with Halo, and they didn't have the same connection to it that Bungie did. So I kind of feel bad for them in that sense. But at the same time, that doesn't make up for some of the bullshit. They do go through a lot of it.
Yeah, 343 Industries was founded by Bonnie Ross in 2007 after the former Halo studio Bungie separated from Microsoft.
There you go. So they were created solely to take on the Halo franchise. But that's the thing. They were just a hodgepodge of people put together and were given the biggest responsibility. One of the biggest franchises in gaming history. And they had... I doubt too many members of 343 had a repertoire of experience before that.
And it's like, this goes back to an example that I hate. So for people that don't really know, I used to be, not on my YouTube channel, but I used to be really ingrained in the Fallout community. And
yeah, you told me about this a little bit.
Well, I didn't tell you about this part. A lot of people use the reasoning that Fallout New Vegas is made by the same people who made Fallout 1 and 2. And here's how they come to this conclusion, and this just makes me want to smack the ever-loving shit out of them.
Isn't it just because there's a couple members of Obsidian that worked on it?
Well, so here that's part of it. But so what happened was Black Isle Studio, who did games like Fallout 1 and 2, Baldur's Gate, they did a lot of top-down RPGs back in the day, broke up. And a fraction of them became Obsidian Studios. And I think all that's left, or all that was left at the time, was maybe like, 3 people. And they worked on Fallout New Vegas. Like, no, the same people who made Fallout 1 and 2 did not make Fallout New Vegas. Some of the people who made Fallout 1 and 2 made New Vegas, but not the entire team. And they're like, but it's the same company. Like, no, it's fucking not.
It's not. That's the logic that doesn't work. Because it's like saying, oh, Blizzard's the same company. Because it has a few of the people left over. And even then, a lot of them have been fucking excised from the company. It just, the logic doesn't hold. Because...
I will say, as much shit as Blizzard gets, I will give them one piece of credit. They actually treat Chris Metzen good, and they told him if he ever wants to come back and voice Thrall, he's more than welcome to.
Yeah, and he did for some of the Battle of Azeroth stuff. And I hear the character's cool. Sticking around, so...
Yeah.
I am happy to see that Chris Metzen isn't banned from, working with them anymore. So it's good to hear that he still has that connection to the franchise, because I think everything that Chris Metzen wrote and put together for them is probably some of the best stories in Warcraft history.
Absolutely.
Warcraft 3 is a pretty big example. I mean, he voiced a major pivotal character, and he was one of the key writers, as I recall. And that's my favorite game of all time is Warcraft 3. Yeah, back on topic. Let's see. It's okay if we go off topic, though. It's a podcast. It's not meant to be like this very robotic thing. I'm just skimming through again. Azagon's. Oh wait, Alex Marchenko. Grimdark Project. Interesting. We'll see your earlier vids if you talking about it. Yeah, I do. I have a whole video dedicated to it. It's called. Let me double check the name. Yeah, if you
Right.
the video I got is I'm making a sci-fi grimdark plus channel impact. That's the name of the video. It's got 600 or so views. But in that video, I just kind of go over the fact that due to some of the stuff with GW and my fear of where the franchise is going, it kind of brought up right on this inspiration. Like, since I'm not happy where this is going, and I have been looking for not a combination of like a business venture and like a creative idea I want to donate my time to, and that's not just YouTube. Though I do, trust me, this is a focus in my day-to-day. But I would very much like to create something outside of YouTube. And I thought, well, I love 40K, I love tabletops, I love all of this. I love this kind of thing, and I would love to create my own tabletop war game. So at this point, I'm pretty much starting my own company. Once the company's got its trademark and copyright, I'm going to be hiring on a team, and we're going to be literally making our own sci-fi grimdark tabletop hobby. And I'm currently writing the lore for it. I just got my old 3D software back, Maya 2020. And I'm going to start prototyping models. I might do a couple videos where I just model stuff out for fun, for like a speed model or something like that. And that'll be available to you guys sooner rather than later. And some of my early concepts I also intend to do videos on. But I probably won't be putting on anything like, this is canonically what I want this to look like, until I have a copyright on certain visuals. So there's a lot going on that front. But that's currently what I'm working on, is my own sci-fi grimdark tabletop hobby and universe. I've been asked 1,000,001 questions, and I answered a huge chunk of them on the Q&A video stream, but I still got to go through that and make sure everything's all clear, all clean, and once that's good to go, it'll be public again. But that's just to get the basic rundown of what's going on there. I hope it makes sense. But anyway,
I also just realized we're both wearing Warcraft shirts.
I can't see your shirt, but really? Yeah, I got the Horde, baby. Oh, yeah, you got the World of Warcraft. Nice. Yeah, I just got I'm just representing my favorite faction.
What's funny is I actually, when I started playing World of Warcraft back in vanilla, I started off Alliance. My first character was a Dwarf Paladin, and now I do play both, but I am primarily Horde.
I play both, but I'm primarily Horde. When I first started, I was a little kid. I didn't even have a concept of the factions. I did as I played, but in fact, by the way, my reading skill went up like I was 3 years ahead of all my peers, because while we were in grade school, I had to read these big words in the quest text to understand everything going on. So I learned how to read really complex things and understand it at a young age. So I was using words like pontificate to my teacher and knew what it meant. Oh God, I think
we had to do these stupid, there were these computer tests, and it's like, when you take this test, it'll tell you what kind of reading level you have. In 7th grade, I had a college plus reading level. And they're like, but you're the kid that doesn't talk to people. Like, I know.
That's
don't
why.
like people.
I read the books.
No.
They're nicer than you are.
Like, so the only books I read at that time were, God, this might be kind of telling, and actually I'm willing to bet most people don't know what these are. The Dark Elf Saga and the Elminster Saga. Dark Elf Saga, that's one of the more famous ones. It's Dritz to Erden and the Forgotten Realms. And I can't remember what the other one is. Elminster's in a different world, but both of them originate from D&D.
You have to send me a link to those. Those sound interesting to me. Huh. Because I don't think I've read either of those. Jinja Ninja says nerd.
Yeah, this is the Wikipedia page for the first 3 books.
It's a trilogy, I assume, then.
Yeah. And then Elminster. No, that's just the wiki page on the character. I want the what? Elminster books. Elminster: The Making of a Mage by Ed Greenwood. Forgotten Realms. That's what it is. Oh, they're both Forgotten Realms. Okay, I'm just retarded.
Alright, I'm gonna run to the... This is my turn to run to the bathroom.
Damn it, I need to go too.
God damn it.
You go ahead. You go ahead, I'll wait.
Yeah, I'll be right back.
Okay. One thing about Dorn, he has a major flaw, the belief that everything can be destroyed and rebuilt to the same estate it was before. Piece of a broken cup put together are a fractured cup. So now with Dorn, Dorn is actually a really good primer. He's written really well, and I personally believe that the Trader Primarchs are written better than the Loyal Primarchs. But out of the Loyal Primarchs, I think the two that are best written are probably Vulcan and Dorn. Maybe Sanguinius. Sanguinius to me is just too much of a perfect boy. Wonder what happened to WoW if orcs and elves were painted by Tolkien. The problem is Tolkien is dead. I mean, his estate could probably do it, but it's been so long, I don't see them winning that one. I don't see them being able to retroactively copyright the orcs and elves to get rid of.
Alright, I am back. Sorry about that.
No, it's fine. I was just answering a question. I wonder what would happen to WoW if orcs and elves were painted by Tolkien. But I will now be right back. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, if elves and orcs were in WoW were penned by Tolkien, the orcs would be a lot more like flat evil, and the elves would be a lot more would be relatively similar to I think how they are in how they are in World of Warcraft as it is now. Very nature, very natural elements, and that kind of stuff. Druidic magic, that kind of thing. I would definitely think there'd be more of that.
Praise be to you, mighty donator.
Did we get a donation? Where's the notification? I heard the alert, but where's the Sorry, if somebody did that via the Streamlabs thing, I gotta... Yeah, somebody, Jinja Ninja, you donated. Thank you, man. I'm not seeing it on the. It's not a super chat, so anyway, sorry. Thank you for the donation, man. Much appreciated. Yeah. Sorry, that threw me off. But thank you very much for the support. Thank you. Very much appreciated. And all donations, again, are divvied up between, YouTube takes 33%, so I have to take that away, except for that one. If you donate directly to the Streamlabs, I think Streamlabs takes less than 5-10%, something like that. So we don't have to worry about that as much. But overall, if you do via Super Chat, YouTube takes about 30% of the donation, and whatever's left over, I will divvy up. If it's super chats, I don't get the money until the following month, by I think around like the 20th, 21st, 22nd, somewhere in there. And once that money comes in, I divvy it after we factor out the 33% that YouTube took. Whatever's left over, it goes to me and to Ludus, and everything that goes to me is more or less going into my Grimdark project. And everything that goes to Ludus is to help his situation, help his channel and everything. So that's all, it's all very much appreciated, and it helps us all out. It helps everybody who's participated in this, and I greatly appreciate anybody who's willing to do that. I'm just kind of giving you guys the rundown of how it's going to work, though, so you know what your money's going to specifically, and we appreciate it very much.
Absolutely.
And welcome back, Ludus.
Sorry.
It's okay. It's not big deal.
I've always, and I hate saying it, but I've always had a small or so. I'm sorry.
No, I've been drinking the entire time, so bathroom breaks are gonna be necessary. Um,
I actually like this question. Alex Marchenko. Like the traitor Primarchs outnumber loyal right now, who may turn back loyal, do you think? So if any of the traitor Primarchs turn loyal, who do you think it will be?
Fulgrim is the only one I could think of that would be redeemable enough to come back. Because his betrayal is more tragic, certainly, than the others, and less. Less in his
GW
control.
doesn't care about that.
Yeah, I know, but overall, I think Fulgrim is the most redeemable. Because again, his fall was less of his own decision, and it was way more dark.
I got an argument based on. I got a different Primarch based on the exact same argument you just gave. Magnus.
Yeah, but with Magnus, it was forced upon him, yes, but Magnus is less redeemable in the sense that he doesn't seek redemption. Because he's the one he feels betrayed. Fulgrim doesn't feel betrayed. He feels that he had betrayed, even though it was less in his control. So that's the significant difference.
I will say, out of all the traitor Primarchs, if I had my choice on who would come back to loyal, just for the sheer lulz of it, Mortarion.
Mortarion?
Yeah. Remember the big fucking war between the Death Guard and the Ultramarines? Imagine if Mortarion came back loyal. That would be so funny.
That'd be interesting.
It would be. Imagine like Mortarion trying to get along with Guilliman after that.
They wouldn't.
Exactly.
They do not fucking like each other. No.
Okay, so you have Fulgrim, who was the one who put Guilliman in the fucking coma. I might be able to see Perturabo.
I don't think I could see Perturabo turning back.
The only ones I could see being an absolute no-go would be Lorgar and Angron. The rest of them, I could see an argument, not a great argument, but the ones I see absolutely no argument are those two. Well, okay, so you're asking about Alpharius and Omegon? Canonically, they're dead.
Yeah. Oh, I think I missed someone's comment earlier. Astarte is the Phoenician goddess of war. Sailing the stars in heaven, Astarte could just as well have been the name of the initial project, as the Imperium does use mythological names. Yes, I agree. But the thing is, I'm not like, again, when it comes to the Astarte side of like that whole Erda reveal, that is like nowhere near on the same level of like an FU to anything as the Erda stuff. Erda, because the thing is, Erda straight up undid a lot of what made some of the Chaos Gods cool. Like the idea that these eternal beings of destruction and death and torment basically pre-planned the Horus Heresy all the way back to when the Emperor was just putting the diapers on the Primarchs. Like that whole concept has been fundamental with 40k and 30k throughout. And it's been one of the core like backbones of the lore, and it's fascinating, and it genuinely makes the Chaos Gods kind of cool in their own sense.
I just saw another good argument where I was talking about Magnus and or not Magnus, but Mortarion and Guilliman getting along. Dr. Jester brings up Magnus in the Space Wolves, says Magnus came back loyal. That would be hilarious. Like, imagine Magnus going back and looking at the Blood Ravens like, oh, I wonder where you fucking went. I do believe Blood Ravens are descended from Thousand Sons. I have not heard a good argument to prove otherwise.
I don't disagree. I don't think I'd have to look into that one more.
So, other arguments I've heard are... I've heard Blood Angels, but they don't suffer from the Red Thirst.
They also don't resemble Sanguinius in any way.
I've heard Rogel Dorn, and I almost laughed myself till I threw up.
Yeah, no.
I heard Raven Guard, which is again another one that made me laugh till I nearly threw up. And then like the only one left really was the Thousand Suns. And the reason that makes sense to me is because how many librarians do the fucking Blood Ravens have? And then what's their thing? And then what's their big thing? We take from everyone. We take all their artifacts and all their forbidden knowledge. What the Thousand Suns done for?
Yeah, Yokai just said something I do not agree with, but I'll get your thoughts on this. As we're gone, the only thing that would redeem the Urda stuff is if the Chaos Gods possessed Urda to send the Primarchs to the warp. No, the thing is that pretty much undoes the Urda stuff. It's like, why even fucking add her to begin with if it's still the Chaos Gods?
So the only thing that could really redeem the Urda stuff, and this is going to be like a huge fucking technical loophole, is so Urda is the one who threw the Primarchs into the
warp.
Into the warp. Now, could there be meddling with the Chaos Gods? Absolutely. However, if I remember right, there was a piece of lore where Lorgar went back in time and actually saw the Chaos Gods do it. And so they've already retconned that lore. So for me, could it be that the Chaos Gods fucked with her to make her do it? Yeah. It would certainly make more sense than mommy slapping daddy at the dinner table.
Yeah, but again, they wouldn't have to retcon the retcon if they didn't make the retcon.
No, I absolutely agree with that.
So it doesn't redeem anything. They still are trying to make this stupid argument in the first place.
I mean, they shouldn't have done it to begin with. Absolutely, I agree with that. But would it make it better? That's really debatable. I don't think anything will really make it better.
I don't think it'll make it better. Not in any
That would
way.
just make it like, instead of being a horse pill, they actually put KY jelly on it to make it easier to swallow. Tastes like shit, but hey, at least it makes it easier to swallow.
I still find that pill unswallowable because you fucked with it in the first place unnecessarily.
I was just hoping you would laugh at the fact that I said KY jelly and it would taste like shit.
I'm sorry, I'm too like hyper focused on my rage. I wasn't thinking about it.
Now Fincorn said how to redeem the Urda stuff, make Urda a chaos worship. That's debatable too.
Again, it comes back to that thing. It's like they said in this retcon that she did it to get the Primarchs away from their father because she was afraid of what he would do with them.
It really is mommy slapping daddy at the dinner table.
That's what they said was the case. And I haven't read the actual book, so maybe there is room for that. But the Lexiconum entry gave a very strong implication that this is canonically like this. She didn't do it due to chaos corruption. She did it because she wanted to get them away from, like, she was supposed to be a loving mother. That's what the Lexiconum entry heavily implied.
Okay, so I need a little bit more into this. Maybe this is something that you know what this question is. Asbagon, regarding the different Marine chapters based upon traders, what would be the Iron Warriors Night Lords, excluding the Primaris chapters?
Wait, I gotta read that again. Regarding the different Marine chapters based upon traders, what would be the Iron Warriors?
Are you asking, like, if the traders and loyalists were split? Because if that's the case, the Iron Warriors would be the primary defenders, and Night Lords would be skirmish fighters.
Yeah, I'm not sure I fully understand the question.
Think of it as the equivalent of Iron Warriors would be what the Loyal Imperial Fists are, and the Night Lords would probably be close to the Raven Guard.
Oh, so it's like, what would their role be?
That's what I'm assuming. Bro.
Well, that brings up the question: what's with the excluding the Primaris thing? I'm.
Yeah.
Is there a way you could reword the question, Fun Bro, by chance?
We're 40K fans. We're not bright.
Not with how much I spent.
How would Nostalgia Critic survive Warhammer or 30K?
He would not. He'd be dead within a day. No, he'd be dead within a second.
Okay.
Just to give you a reference, the Billy Mount is a carryover fan from back when I did reactions as a thing on YouTube. forever ago. And he's hyper obsessed with the stuff that I reacted to then and constantly brings it back up. So I appreciate that he sticks around even though I don't do that stuff anymore, but he constantly brings that stuff back up. But Nostalgia Critic wouldn't survive 40K, let's be frank. Doug Walker would be dead within seconds. Like this, it's kind of a nonsensical question, to be honest, to Billy Mount.
So he clarified a little bit. He's like, no, as in the Blood Rabel example being based upon Thousand Suns. Like, are there any current chapters that could be based off of Traitor Legions? And now, right below that, Finkarn says Loyalist World Eaters equal Black Templar. No, they are Imperial Fist descendants.
Yeah, that's confirmed.
But I know this one because of Arch. They do use stuff that is influenced by the World Eaters.
Yeah, I mentioned that in my... for those of you who were there for that live stream, when I was showing the Black Templar Primaris trailer, I pointed out that the Black Templars adopted several traditions from the World Eaters, and the reason that I brought that up was because in that trailer, they showed one of the bolters being blessed by a Mechanicus, and I found that incredibly strange that there was no chain on it, because Black Templars, one of the traditions they adopted was the chain around the weapon. They literally chain the weapon to their arm. It's a carried over tradition that they adopted from their traitor cousins, and the chapter is unaware that that's where that tradition comes from. Because
I would love to see them have that conversation though.
Well, the thing is, the only people who would know is the World Eaters themselves would recognize it, perhaps, and Sigismund, because he's the one who implemented the tradition, and he adopted it after having fought with the World Eaters previously, before the heresy.
Okay, so Finkarn clarified, and real quick, Billy Mount, is nice to meet you as well. Finkarn said, I meant if there was a Loyalist World Eater, would they behave like Black Templars? I don't think so.
I don't think they'd behave the exact. I think there would be similarities. Like I think you're looking at it very like surface level. Because the thing is, the on surface level, yes, like the rage, the zealotry in battle, the hyper aggressive nature, that would be there. But that's just surface level. If we're talking like traditions, behaviors, beliefs, why they believe these things, their aesthetic. If we're talking about like everything that's below surface level for both chapters, they're fundamentally completely different in every way. The World Eaters like killing and fighting just for the sake of it. They love battle. They love rage. They're basically Khorne incarnate, and they pretty much are.
Well, they are now.
They are now for sure, but they were even as loyalists.
Well, no, not really, actually.
Well, they were a little bit more tempered, but they pretty much were still one of the more aggressive loyalist legions. So they've always been hyper aggressive to a very zealotry degree, but the core difference between them and the Black Templars is the Black Templars, it's not just about the rage and the hate of combat. There's a purpose and driving force for that rage and that push forward. It's not just about anger, it's about their belief in the God Emperor as a god. It's their religious zealotry. And it's about their core beliefs that have been ingrained in each and every single one of them since the adoption of their chapter. It's just completely, again, motivationally speaking, they're just too different. I don't think the World Eaters, if they were loyalists, would equal what the Black Templars are.
I think I might have a good analogy for what a loyal World Eater would look like. Space Wolves, but instead of Vikings, Roman gladiators.
Yeah, I could see that.
And the only reason I say that, and that's mostly because of their gladiatorial thing, but also look at Khorne. Pre-heresy, he really believed in honor. I mean, yeah, they were brutal, but Khorne is known to be very honorable. In fact, the only World Eater who's known not really to be honorable is Angron.
Well, yeah, that's the thing is, I think when it comes to all the chapters and their father Primarchs, you can see all of them are very much like their fathers. I think the one legion that is very, like, in terms of members versus their Primarch, very few of them, especially when the legion was, they were loyal to him, of course, that's their father, but I think when it comes to relationship speaking, I think the Angron and the World Eaters were just. I think there was a level of separation between the two that's stronger than. That's more of a gap than other chapters in their Primarchs.
That's kind of true. I know the 3 Traitor Legions that had the biggest split were the World Eaters, the Death Guard, and the Sons of Horus.
Yeah.
The Death Guard was actually, I would probably say the Death Guard would probably be the one with the biggest separation. And the reason is because before they were the Death Guard, when they were the Dusk Raiders, they were Terran. Once Mortarion rejoined them, he started bringing on all of these Astartes from Barbarous, and started bringing in Barbarous teachings, and it just essentially split the Legion almost in half. And Flight of the Eisenstein is a great book. I recommend it to anyone. It's probably my favorite of the first 6 books of the Horus Heresy, and it really shows like how the Barbarous Astartes treated the Terran Astartes and vice versa.
Yeah. So what? Anyway.
Sorry. I nerded out a little bit more.
We do that. Yeah, so just to wrap this up, the last thing we'll address about that one is the World Eaters and the Word Bearers disliked their Primarchs in 30k at the very least. I'd say, yeah. I'd say the Word Bearers probably disliked their Primarch less than, the World Eaters disliked Angron. Yeah. I think again, there was more honor in his sons than there was himself for Angron.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Very much so. So I think there was a much larger gap between the two. All right. How much did we actually talk about Halo Infinite?
We talked about the box art release. The only thing that I can address this real quickly is for those of you who are unsure about it, and if you have a computer or an Xbox, and you have Game Pass, it will be free on launch, like all Xbox exclusive. So that's really about it for the Halo thing. Yeah. Unless you want to show off the box art.
How to do that?
That's a good question.
I do not have a separate view other than the 2 of us, so maybe I can add one.
Hold on a minute. I know how to do it. Let me click on. Damn it! I need to click on the image.
No, I got it right here.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, this is the box art. It's very.
And I keep waiting for it to show up on stream, and I forget the stream is like 30 seconds behind.
Yeah, it's a bit.
I'm waiting for it. Oh wait.
And boom, there. I'll just full screen it and do this.
But so far, the box art has gotten, from what I've seen in this article, they're saying that so far, it's very nostalgic for the original Halo. So
yeah,
let's see how it plays out.
I don't dislike the box art though. It is I guess there's not much to say. There's a lot of stuff in the background you can look at, and I like that. Yeah. And the foreground is very solidly the Chief, which is also good. Yeah, I like it. It's aesthetically pleasing. Reminds me of more of like a classic look at the Halo franchise.
And that's something that I really like, is because I think Halo really should. I think Halo has realized their mistake with Halo 4 and Halo 5, and I think they really are trying to go back to what made Halo good.
Yeah.
So I'll give them a little bit of credit there.
Okay, so that's basically our thoughts are. It looks good. I don't see anything wrong with it. And we already talked about the guy who was complaining about Halo 3 dropping early, which is just ridiculous.
Stupid.
It's just ridiculous. All right, so that moves on to 40k Mechanicus drops on consoles.
Yeah, so this is something that they've been sharing on Twitter. And 40k Mechanicus this past week released on consoles. And this is something I think they've been talking about for a while. For anyone who's interested, if you like 40K and you like the game series XCOM, just give it a look. Actually, let me look at my calendar. Tomorrow at 2 p.m. on my channel, I will be releasing my first look at Mechanicus. This is the PC version. So, if you want to, because
I'll probably do a video on that too. I don't think I've played the Mechanicus game. I own it though. I got it in one of those like
Humble bundles.
Yeah, one of those humble bundles. I got that. So I've yet to play it though.
Have you ever played XCOM?
Yes.
Do you like XCOM?
Depends on which one. For the most part, I like the games, but there are ones I like less.
Do you like the style of XCOM, the way it's turn based on the?
Yes, I do enjoy that.
Then yeah, you might like this. It's Mechanicus v Necron.
Ew. That's actually an interesting matchup. It's like a machine lover versus machine.
And I will say this: I actually on their Twitter pointed out like maybe they should add in more enemies. They're like, wait a minute, Necrons aren't enough. Like, what would you like to see? So I threw out examples like a defense mission against orcs or Tyranids. Tyranids trying to destroy a planet. Orcs trying to just beat orcs.
Which is destroy planets.
Yeah. Or you could have like a timed mission where you've got to get to an objective in a certain amount of time, in a certain amount of turns, and race the Dark Mechanicus, which I thought would be cool. And the cool thing is they weren't dicks about it. They weren't like, well, we know better than you and shit like that. They were actually like, that's actually a really good idea. Don't know if they'll do it, but they were at least very polite about it. So that was cool.
Yeah. Someone Ball says toaster. That always conjures up the toaster of the Mechanicum humping the toaster. I fucking love that meme.
The bad thing is, so like a lot of the people on my Discord came with me from the Fallout community I was in, and they had no clue what that meme was, and I saw it and I just started laughing. And they put it up there not knowing what it was; they just thought it was funny. And I was like, he's fucking a toaster. Like, but why is that funny? Like, you have to understand the Mechanicus to get the joke.
Yeah. I still love it though.
Oh yeah.
Actually, didn't text to speech do? I think they did that in like the first couple episodes with the toaster meme.
They did it in a few episodes. In fact, something I thought was really cool. And again, I don't really care for TTS anymore, but that's because I got so ingrained in the lore. I just pick it apart. Like, that's not right. That's not right. That's not right. That's not right. And I just end up picking it apart, and it's really hard to enjoy it.
I'm sure people think the same about my In the Nutshell episodes.
But so it's like it was enjoyable. It's great for a laugh, but if you get to the point where you're neurotically start picking it apart, it becomes less fun.
Oh, did I tell you about the email I got about my In the Nutshell episodes?
No.
I will never show this email because I don't want to, and it's super long. But I'll never do a video on it. But the gist of this like essay-long fucking email I got from this guy, and the thing is, the guy wasn't like an SJW who was like mad at me for the other stuff. It's just it was solely the In the Nutshell stuff. And he's the whole thing. He's just telling me like how much of an insult it is to the lore, how it just destroys the immersion for a lot of people. Like this fucking like rant at me, like you're destroying people's introduction to the lore through this. And I'm like, are you retarded? Like, we're destroying their intro. I'm giving them a comedic, quick, like, this is the gist of this. If you want to know the full thing, if you want to, please go check out the books. Please go check out bigger YouTubers who cover this stuff in depth. I am not claiming that this is the full length of the whole thing, and this is all you need to know. This is just, it's summarized. And I'm summarizing quite a bit in 5 minutes.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely, and I think that would be better for some people because the lore, like when I got started in the lore, it was very overwhelming for me. And that's why I was actually talking about this. I'm going to start changing up the way I do my videos, where I'm going to go strictly to basics and do them in about 5 to 10 minutes. and just make sure it's kind of like it's easier for people to grasp because I did a fucking 30-minute video on each of the Chaos Gods and it's like if I did that in like if I cut out a lot of the fluff and did it specifically on the Chaos Gods and did it in like 5 to 10 minutes, that would probably be easier for people to understand. So it's just one of those things where it's like trying to learn how to do that effectively.
Yeah. The thing is, when it comes to my approach, I like to be funny and entertaining. I'm not the kind of guy to sit there and write out a full-length script that's like 3 hours long about a character or about a portion of the lore. That's just for me. I like to do things quick. I like to do things summarize. I like my in the nutshell style because it's comedic, it's quick, and it's more the kind of thing I like to do. I think if I tried to sit there and edit a 3-hour lore video, I think by the end of it I would start to hate doing the lore. Because it takes out a lot of the fun for me. Like, when I read this stuff in my own time, it's incredibly fun. But if I had to, like, make a video going so in-depth on, like, a character, on the Primarchs, as much as I'd enjoy it, at the end of the day, it's this super unnecessarily long thing. And most people aren't going... Well, I say most people. Most of the 40K community would. But when it comes to, like, newer people... No one's gonna want to. If all they ever see are videos like, if a new person searches up 40K lore, if all they ever see are these like 6-hour videos, 3-hour videos, 2-hour videos just describing a character, that's intimidating, and a lot of people are gonna turn away. They're gonna be like, "Fuck it, this is way too long." But so my in the nutshell episodes are really in my opinion, a better introduction because most people aren't going to be intimidated by a 5-minute video. And it gives them a taste. It gives them a taste of what they can seek out later.
Yeah, and everyone knows how I feel about Arch's videos. I love Arch's videos. I love his storytelling style. I watched his Perturabo video.
So did I.
If you can fucking sit through it, it's a really good video, but it's like 2 hours and 15 minutes. So it's one of those things, like, if you can sit through it, yeah, it's a great video, but it's fucking long.
Very much so. And I enjoy his storytelling style too. And again, I'm already a 40K fan. I will sit there and listen to this shit for hours on end, and I would no apologies about it. But if you're new and you're looking this stuff up, do you really think a brand new person is going to want to sit there for 3 hours just to hear about one character?
I will say that I love the way you said that. I'm a 40K fan. I make no apologies about it. Just all you have to say is I'm a 40K fan, and that instantly translates to I'm a masochist.
Masochist and a sadist.
Yeah. I mean, so, and to kind of keep on the subject of Arch real quick, I also like hearing his perspective. And I was talking with Kibbs about this last night when a while back, I made the comment that I thought Arch was childish. And to an extent, yes, I still believe it's childish.
Yeah, I know. I told you, like, you think he's childish. Whew, wait till you see my videos. I make no qualms about being childish.
But I don't think that's a bad thing. I just think he's a big kid at heart. But I also think that he's really, really intelligent, too. And that's why I like, one of my favorite series of his is his Rimworld video. I'll just watch that and I'll listen to him talk. And he says a lot of smart things. He says stuff I don't agree with sometimes, but he's really smart about how he delivers it. And even though I don't agree with it, I'm like, okay, I can see how he got there. It's just, it's really cool because it's like, even if you disagree with someone, like, at least, like, okay, so how did you get there? Okay, that makes sense. I still disagree with you, but I respect how you got there.
Yeah, and that's how it should be. It shouldn't be like, oh, I disagree with you, let's cancel your ass. It should be, I don't agree with you, I don't agree with your delivery, but, you do you. That's how it should be. I don't get we don't need to get into this being a nerd stream and a geek stream. We don't get into, like, the serious stuff. But at the end of the day, I think that's, again, the crux of, like, why a lot of people like you and me don't like cancel culture is we still understand that concept of disagreement doesn't equal hatred or dislike or spite. It's just not how it works. I think a lot of people mistake that these days, and it gets tiring, and that involves a lot into what happens with with, you know, Arch and stuff. And me and you have gotten to know the guy a lot more, and we both can agree, like, a lot of the claims about him are very untrue.
Like, so for anyone who doesn't know, and this will be a big fucking surprise with my emblem being right on the screen, I'm Jewish. Not once have I felt discriminated by Arch for being Jewish. Not once. But supposedly he's anti-Semitic? Like, show me fucking proof first.
Yeah, it comes down to that same annoying thing that people keep pushing about him, and we all agree it's untrue at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And the thing is, you know, you've been straight with us that, you know, you're Jewish, and have any of us cared?
No.
Arch hasn't cared. I haven't cared.
With that big ass pauldron right there.
Yeah, most of us don't give a shit.
No, exactly. Like, at the end of the day, this is something I've always said, and I actually told you about this. You know, I just got a comment on my What's Wrong with the Warhammer 40k community. I've had disagreements and agreements on there, and this guy just puts on there moron. It's like, why? Like, come up with a logical debate and then come back.
They can't. They can't. They are unable to come up with logic, so they resort to insults. I resort to insults because it's funny. I don't. The thing is, that's the thing. I have no delusion of actually debating these people or convincing them to change their delusional perspective. So I don't bother. I just go ham and insult them because I don't fucking care. I don't. Oh, you're childish. Yeah, I fucking am. I don't care. You know, you want a calm, rational debate. Go to Arch. Don't go to me. I'm here to insult people. I'm gonna be a dick about it, and I'm gonna be unapologetic about it.
So, I mean, like, I've had good conversations with people on both sides, and I've had really negative experience with people on both sides, too. I would be lying if I said I didn't. But here's what it really comes down to for me. Because people have said, like, well, you've had people say stuff about you in Arch's community. Like, yes, do you know how many? I can count them on one fucking hand. And I know this off the top of my head. I've had 3 people in Arch's community give me shit for one reason or another to a level that was... in my eyes, where it's just like, leave me the fuck alone. At that point, just leave me alone. I'll leave you alone, and that'll be that. When it comes to the other side of it, I couldn't tell you how many. It's not fucking 3. Last time I counted, it was like 10 to 15. Yeah,
and has anyone in Arch's community said anything as bad to you as that guy who told you to get back in the oven?
As bad as it? Really fucking close. But I don't, and that was only one person, and I don't see him as the, I'm trying to think of the word for this here. I don't see him as the representative for the group. Now, the reason I do on the other side of it is because, yes, I had that one person say that really extreme thing, but I've had multiple people say other things about me being Jewish and about things that maybe I should do because I'm Jewish.
Which makes no sense.
They'll take whatever they can get. But so when it comes down to it, that one guy, I fucking avoid him like the plague. Why? I don't want to put up with the bullshit. So I do the same thing with the people on the other side. The big difference is of the people I've interacted with, of the, you know, I wouldn't say hundreds, maybe in the like 20s, maybe 150. I will, you know, I've had 3 bad experiences. And the like 50 people on the other side, at least half of, or not about half, but maybe about 20 to 25% of them have been bad experiences. It's like, yeah, fucking wonder why no one likes you and wants to listen to you.
Well, at the end of the day, they're hypocrites. You know, they claim Arch is this big racist and anti-Semite and fascist and all this other shit. But then when you confront them, they don't hesitate to throw out the worst insults that Arch says jokingly. They mean it seriously, and they say some horrible fucking shit. We just got a $2 donation. Yorozuya. Fuck, I butchered that. I fucking butchered that. Thank you for the $2. Thank you very much appreciated. Yo, as we got on Sublutus. Yeah, what's up, man? Thank you for the donation. Very much appreciated.
But yeah, so I can explain it. I actually can explain it, but this also would require you
Praise
to
be to
believe
you, mighty donator.
the worst in people. And that is that they absolutely that they absolutely are bad faith actors. And it's that they well, now I'll say this: not all of them are bad faith actors.
Good chunk of them.
Because on Twitter, I was having a conversation with two different people. One of them, literally off the bat, and I mean like literally off the bat, calls me a fascist. And I just start laying into him like nothing, because I already know where that conversation's going. Like you said, I'm just gonna fuck with him at that point.
Well, that's the thing. That's why I don't bother with like attempting to reason or attempting to be polite or respectful. They've made up their minds and they will not even attempt to understand your arguments. So I don't even bother with that now. I respect Arch for doing that. I respect everybody else for trying that at least. I don't even bother anymore. I know there's no point to it. There are no rational people who are against Arch at this point. Not that I've seen. I've seen none. You maybe have seen some. I don't see any.
I will say on that front, it's about a 50.
Thank you for the $2. Sorry. Thank you for the $2, Benito Martinez. The left showing their tolerance.
Praise be to you,
yes,
mighty donator.
I won't go as far to push it as left versus right. Don't want to get that political, but I'd say definitely like the anti-Arch crowd for sure. I won't jump on the left versus right thing right this second. I try to avoid that in this podcast since it's mostly geek stuff. But when it comes to the anti-Arch crowd, that's what I'm talking about more so. Yeah,
and but like so in the same thread, I was talking to a different guy, and you know, and I did the same thing to him that I did to the other guy. He's like, hey, you're being kind of a dick about it. Like, and I ended up apologizing to him. Like, you know, yes, I was a dick intentionally to kind of show this is what y'all are doing to us. It's like, oh yeah, that's kind of shitty. And so after that, after I was like, okay, now I'm done with that. Now we can have a sane, rational conversation. And, you know, he's like, and we both said, you know, I understand where you're coming from, and he understood where I was coming from, but we agreed to disagree on the final result. You know, we understood where each other was coming from. We just didn't agree on the end result or the method. But we still had a very pleasant conversation. In fact, we ended up talking about history after that, and we had an interesting conversation about history after the fact. So it's like on both sides. You're going to have people like, and I'll say this: I can be that person. I can be an asshole, but I am an asshole. But I didn't want to call you an asshole, especially on your own channel on the podcast.
I am an asshole.
But I can also be the kind of person to be like, okay, so now we got that out of our system. Let's talk about something. And I mean, it's one of the things where it's like we said earlier. It's people need to learn to agree to disagree. Don't always have to be right, and people aren't always right. I'm not always fucking right. So
nobody is. Nobody is right 24/7. It's just simply it's that simple at times. And the thing is that these days, I think people are a little delusional. I think they actually believe there are people out there who have who 100% agree with them on everything, and that it just gets ridiculous because we're at this day and age where people are willing to eat their own that they supposedly associate with just to save face on opinions.
You might get a kick out of this. So
don't do Twitter shares. Please don't.
Oh no, I'm not going to show it on screen. You know all the stuff that Major Kill has said.
Oh yeah, let's not get into Major Kill.
Oh well, no,
that's a rabbit hole.
Yeah, well, no, I was going to say, because like they like to use the guilt by association shit on us and call us fascists and Nazis and shit like that.
Yeah, wasn't his Patreon tier like My Kind of Jew was like the $1 tier?
Yeah. So I was like, oh, so since he's on y'all's side of the argument, you're both anti-Semitic and racist. You're going to treat me like an individual. You just use guilt by association on me. I'm going to do it to you. They don't like that. They really don't like that.
Yeah, they don't let they find it fair play when they do it to other people. It's not turnabout is not fair play to them. Anything that makes them look bad in any way is not fair to them. But everything that makes the those they're against look bad is perfectly fair play. They don't care how dirty, they don't care how ridiculous, they don't care how old. But if it's used against them, even if it's recent, by God, it's the end of the universe. Anyway,
Turnabout is not only fair play; it's just fun.
Yeah. Anyway, we've been on this little train for a little bit. So, okay, so that does it for the Mechanicus, right? Like, did we say everything we wanted to say about that, or?
To my knowledge, the only thing is it's coming out on console. They're kind of cool people. If you like XCOM, just give it a check.
Yeah, I'll probably check it out on my channel as well. Asmogon is more about virtue signaling than saving face. Virtue signaling is SJW national sport.
I wish that wasn't true.
I wish it wasn't either, but it's true.
Only thing I have left is the Pathfinder thing. I can do that really quick.
Yeah. This is where I kind of like don't know, because I've never engaged in the Pathfinder stuff. I played D&D, but I haven't done anything with Pathfinder.
So for anyone interested who plays Pathfinder Kingmaker,
I'll use this opportunity to run to the bathroom too, since I, again, don't have anything to contribute off the top of my head. I'll jump back in, though. I'll be right back.
No, it's fine. It's fine. So for anyone interested in Pathfinder Kingmaker, they just released an update where it gets a turn-based mode, and initiative actually means something now. Let me see if I can find the actual where they phrase it. Okay. It is less than a month until the release of Pathfinder Kingmaker Definitive Edition for PC and consoles. With this update comes turn-based mode and a number of fixes. So they're actually going to release a turn-based mode, and I don't know how to share this on my screen. But just the look of it looks pretty cool, and I'll probably give it a test out. Probably tonight. Well, I'll probably give it a test tomorrow because I just realized I'm going to be busy. But I'll probably give it a test tomorrow and then do either a quick stream on it or maybe a quick little video on it just to see how it's playing. Yeah. So, well, no, they released the turn-based mode for this update, but the definitive edition is getting released in mid-August. Probably after my fucking birthday, because that's my luck. Boom, boom. Yeah, it's less than a month, so maybe mid-August. But yeah, so that should be interesting. Like I said, I'm already going to give it a test tomorrow because I'm actually doing another stream tonight and doing a community event on my channel, so I won't be able to test it out tonight. Because, yay.
Yeah, I'm back. Let me look through the chat real quick.
Chat might be able to do it tonight.
Okay, so their NPCs just repeating. Okay, so that's from the earlier conversation. As we're going, I guess we can address this. On Major Kill, he is edgy boy and he is playing the YouTube game, and well, I find his stuff funny, but I still think he panders and avoids pissing the lunatics and the YouTube overlords. I don't think it's that simple. I think that, well, all those are true points. I'm not saying you're wrong in anything. I think at the end of the day, Major Kill is very much, I want to be successful and I will do everything in my power to milk success where I find it. I think that's 100% true. At the same time, he tries to be comedic, which inherently those two don't go well together. He's trying to be comedic, which requires you to make fun of, well, people and things. And these days, that's a very testy game, and he uses what the side he panders to considers to be, hateful humor, if you will. And again, look at his he probably changed it by now. I'm assuming he's received enough backlash at this point for the $1 my kind of Jew joke. Which
give me 1 second, I'll tell you for sure.
Yeah, I know. And the thing is, at the end of the day, he's basically full of shit. He says whatever he thinks will give him an edge and push him further in the algorithm, push him further in the right crowds. And he is funny. That's not even arguable. He is funny. But I think at the end of the day, he's going to have to either drop certain comedy or get eaten.
No, My Kind of Jew is still the $1 one.
Really? Okay, I'm going to pull that up then.
And then even better, he has $500 a month. All previous rewards, plus you get to come with me to challenge Arch at Mach Garage when we clock $5,000 on Patreon.
Oh yeah, he's totally gonna challenge. Even if he does, it's just gonna look stupid. He's not taking it seriously.
No, I love that that's an actual thing, and the picture of it is Arch's face.
Guy's a fucking idiot. Alright, so yeah, let's pull that up. So that is right there. That is Major Kill's Patreon. His $1 tier is My Kind of Jews.
He's a special boy.
Yep. You said his $500 tier. What is it?
Fuck! I just closed it, didn't I?
Oh my god. Thank God nobody has actually selected that. Who the fuck would give this guy $500 a month? Yeah.
I mean, I have an answer, but yeah, challenged people would. I mean, it's a horrible thing to say, but
yeah, right there, $1 tier, My Kind of Jew. But no. Arch is a horrible person if he even hints at making those kinds of jokes. Am I right?
Not going to touch that.
Alright, yeah, we probably touched on that more than we need to, but
probably just a little.
Anyway, back on track.
Yeah, I heard about that. Finn Karn said, "Oh, he changed the joke. $500 by doing something else to Arch." I remember that.
Well, yeah, we dwelled on that one long enough, so we made it through everything.
We did make it through everything.
Yeah. So at this point, we'll just take some chats. See what you guys want to talk about for a few minutes, and we'll probably end the stream by the 2.5 hour mark.
Okie dokie. The chat are the bosses now.
Yes, they are. They will lead the conversation.
The chat will be good boys. And girls.
Good boys and girls. Alright, they're still talking about Major Kill. Yeah, we're ready. We're ready to move on, guys. We are ready to move on to a different topic. Because at the end of the day, I still enjoy Major Kill's content. I still think he's funny. Just think he's a bit of a hypocrite. That's all. At times.
There's a button that I need to push, and I'm too dumb to press the button.
What?
I was on Twitter, and I was scrolling up, but if you press the home button, it automatically scrolls all the way back up to the top, and I realized that I'm too dumb to press that button. Are you playing any strategy/RPG game that you could recommend? I am nearly done with RimWorld.
Not really.
Let me look through my massive fucking list.
I don't think I got anything. strategy or RPG? Technically, if we're talking just any strategy, I'm playing StarCraft 2 on streams right now.
Gladius is actually pretty fun, but that's fun if you like some of the Civilization-esque games.
I haven't played that either.
I've started playing Metro Exodus. That's actually a pretty damn good.
Easterbick says, "Are you guys gonna try Total War Troy?"
Nope.
No. Not at all.
I have literally no interest in that game. Not because it's bad, but because the only reason I like Total War Warhammer and Warhammer 2 is because they're Warhammer. Good
enough reasoning.
I mean, I'm not gonna fucking love it.
I enjoy the Total War franchise, but I won't be checking out Troy. I've seen the commercials. I've seen all that. And I will not be participating in that travesty.
Well, Fincorn just said thinking of going Pathfinder when the turn-based update drops in Divinity Original Sin 2. The turn-based update already did drop. That's what I was just talking about. It released 2 days ago. 2 days ago is when it got its turn-based update.
Interesting. George says, Azragon, if you lads could add a unit or character to the Iron Warriors, what would you add to flesh out the Legion?
Because Iron Warriors are actually pretty well-rounded, so it'd be hard to think of something to add to them that they don't already have.
I can't think of anything I'd want to add to them.
Yeah.
Or take away, for that matter. So,
add an Iron Warrior who has like a world eater.
I don't fucking know. I got nothing.
That would be hilarious, like a big fucking Chaos Tech Marine running around screaming with his servo arm wailing around.
Darren Diplock, welcome to the stream. Bring it back to Major Kill, huh?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, yeah, I've already said my piece when it comes to Major Kill. I like his content. Not liking the stuff he's said or done recently, for the sake of it. So, but as for like the joke comment, if Major Kill fights Arch, will Arch use his trap card? It's your boy Dank. Huh?
I think he's referring to Dankula, but Dankula's not really involved in anything. At least not as far as the worm community.
Yeah, I don't think he would get involved here.
I will say this, if he were, I do believe he would be on like the pro Arch side.
Well, yeah,
but I don't think he would get involved. Period.
Yeah, I don't think he'd get involved. It's not his thing.
No.
Acerbic. Oh, and Azragon, check Stellaris for the civilization customization. It's very detailed. That was mentioned last stream. I still haven't had a chance to check it out. Again, my schedule's super fucking busy. But I'll give it a look when I got the time. Anime, any recommendations? Yeah, I got plenty. I got many. It depends on what your tastes are, though. Are you one of those people who like it has to have the most epic story and the most developed characters? It's like, okay, I got a few for you to choose from. If you're into I just want some fan service and to have some fun for a couple hours, I got a laundry list. You know, we could be at this for a few days.
I will say one of my favorites is Assassination Classroom, though.
Yeah, Assassination Classroom's good, but you know, I when it comes to my enjoyment of anime, I'm not one of the picky types of people. You know,
yeah,
the people who are like, I don't like harem anime. Harem anime are so stupid. Oh, I hate overpowered characters. It's like, okay.
Like, I only have really one anime that I choose not to watch, and that's Dragon Ball, but that's about it.
Oh, I love Dragon Ball. Tell me you mean Dragon Ball Z.
Which one was the late 90s? I think that was Z.
That was Z. Dragon Ball was... I don't care who you are. You could still love Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball was a lot more martial arts focused. It was less about Super Saiyans and shit. It still had fantasy elements. It was all over the place. But it was a lot less about, you know, sci-fi and going out of the universe and charging up your next Super Saiyan. It was actually about fighting and strategy. There was actually... I stand by, I enjoyed Dragon Ball infinitely more than I enjoyed Dragon Ball Z. And it's so much smaller scale.
Billy Mount asked me would I recommend Digimon. I love that people still remember that was an actual thing at one point.
I wonder why he's asking that, because one of the things Billy Mount obsesses about is Digimon.
So I'm going to tell this in two ways. It's hard for me to remember like a week ago, but we're trying to talk about something from a decade ago. Well, longer than a decade ago for me seeing it, but I remember liking it. So take that for what it is.
Benito, Ezagon, have you played Mechanicus? It's a fun turn-based game. I have not played it, but I'll probably check it out.
I will say the only thing that gets on my nerves about Mechanicus is that they do talk in Technolingua.
Yeah.
So that's they have the written dialogue right beside it, but when you hear all the beeping and popping, that does get a little old really quick.
Thank God I don't run into many role players who speak Mechanicum.
No, see, then I would actually have to like gut punch people. Be like,
like shut the fuck
down.
There's a reason this is in the game and not here.
You don't have a subtitle box following you around. Shut up.
Murderous Kitten, welcome to the stream. You joined kind of late in the game, but welcome. Alex Marchenko, sorry. See, I didn't grow up in U.S., so I missed all of the DB series. Well, if you grew up in Japan as well, you'd probably get it before we got it here. So when I was in my 20s, I watched it all, was not and is not a fan, really. Yeah, that's perfectly fine. Again, I stand by that Dragon Ball was amazing. DBZ is really fun, really good romp, but it's kind of formulaic as it goes. But it's still fun. It's still fun. I still look back at my memories of watching Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, and enjoying the hell out of it. But when it comes to, like what series would I say superior, it's definitely Dragon Ball. It's smaller scale. There's more of a focus on martial arts. And it's a lot more fun and self-contained. It's the smaller scale helps it a lot.
Billy Mount asked me two questions. Would I want Capcom to do a Dead Rising remake? No, because I don't like Dead Rising. I mean, if other people enjoy it, fucking sure, but it won't make the slightest bit of difference to me.
Yeah.
And he asked, I don't like Dragon Ball because of Evolution. Like, no, I don't like it because I think it's really because I got started on Z, and it was just like,
Asmagod, do you think GW or FW will ever make a dark
Forge World?
Forge World. Oh, okay. What do you think Games Workshop or Forge World will ever make a Dark Mechanicus army? What demon engines would you like to see model-wise? Fuck.
To look this up because there's really.
I would need to look at the lore units list for the Dark Mechanicum. I don't think I've looked at that at all recently. Dark Mechanicum army. There appear to already be models.
A model that I would get would be the Diazire, but that thing would come up to like my knee. So,
I'd say it would be interesting to see a Chaos Titanicus for sure.
Yeah.
That would be fucking awesome. Like, can you imagine the spikes on that bitch? Like just like.
So the Diazire was actually a part of the Horus Heresy, and it survived all the way up to the 13th Crusade, and I don't think it ever got spiky. Now, don't hold me to that, but I'm pretty sure it did.
Let's see here.
Yes, get it.
Yeah, it looks like some people have already like painted the normal Titanicus models to look chaotic.
Oh yeah. No, I have not seen Dragon Ball Evolution. I don't really care about Dragon Ball.
Well, if you didn't like Dragon Ball, you're not gonna like Dragon Ball Evolution.
It's not necessarily that I don't like it. It's one of those things.
No, because fans of DBZ don't like Dragon Ball Evolution. It's considered a bastardization of the franchise.
It's one of those things where Z just put such a bad taste in my mouth. I just have no interest in it now. Not necessarily that I don't like it, just I have no interest.
Nah, I get you. Let's see here, Sarah.
Okay, I lied. It is a little bit spiky.
Well, it's like a rule with Chaos, isn't it? There's got to be at least a couple spikes.
If not spikes, must be tentacles.
Even with the tentacles, they're barbed.
That reminds me of something Kib said last night.
I gotta say, I gotta really improve my miniature painting skills. I think I'm pretty dreadful.
And Jorge Grasa is asking, what new models do you think could be added to the 30k legions that you think are not represented model-wise? I know dick all about models. The most I would go for models is collecting, but I don't even do that.
I think the 30k models, like for example, I just before a lot of this GW shit was going down, I bought a set of Mark III armor, which is 30k armor for the Space Marines. And they don't really have like those studs that are depicted on the armor that well. This is more of like an aesthetic. They have studs, but they're like little bumps. You really can't see them on the model. And I get it; it's hard to 3D print those, but they got some really exaggerated studs on the pauldrons back then. It was a way to prevent their armor from being caved in too easily. So I'd say like. There probably are some sets. I probably haven't looked hard enough. There probably are sets out there that have those more pronounced. But just on the Mark IIIs I got, the studs are not very pronounced. And that's more of an aesthetic thing. As for like full blown units we're missing, I can't really think of any off the top of my head. I haven't like this question would involve like me looking to see like what there are and what there aren't for sets. Yeah. And past what I've collected, which is just the one box set of Mark IIIs, for the Space Marines, I can't think of anything off the top of my head that we're missing that I saw or didn't see. So it's a bit of a loaded question. I'd have to look at what's there and what's not there.
I'm getting more anime questions.
Anime!
What about JoJo and Bleach? I have not watched JoJo's Bizarre Adventures. I have watched the entire anime, all 366 episodes of Bleach, probably about 7 times through, including all 4 movies.
I enjoy part of Bleach. I think the one thing I'll always skip is the Bount arc.
I like the later part of the Bount arc, where they really go into like the moral conundrum they're in. But before that, it's just kind of like, oh, they're vampires, huh?
Yeah, I'm
the one arc. I will say the really cool arc is the Sanpakuto arc, outside of the main storyline.
Yeah. For me, actually, did you hear that Bleach is coming back? By the way,
I am very excited for this. I am waiting to see how they fuck this up.
I hope they don't, really. Like, I'm really hoping this comes back well. I want Bleach to get the love it deserves.
No, see, I agree with you. I hope that I hope that you're right. I hope that they do it and they do it well. I have absolutely no faith that they will do it well.
Yeah, I guess I can agree with that. Yeah. Oh, I see I got asked questions directly. George says, will we ever see Lucius pattern Titan and Knights in the future? I am not a great fan of the look of the Mars pattern stuff. I do not know. Yeah, I'm not sure I have an answer for that properly. I hope we see some more unique patterns on the Titans and the Knights. Because, actually, kind of think of it, I can only think of 2 different kinds of both that I've seen for Titanicus and for Knights. Off the top of my head. Maybe God damn it. this is where it gets like difficult, because when we start asking questions like what's there and what's not there, I haven't memorized the full catalog of GW's models, so this is like a complex question. I do my best to memorize the lore. I don't do my best to memorize like what's there and not there for models. When I asked about the models to add, I was talking about stuff that is in the lore that doesn't have a model. Yeah, but the thing is, I don't know. Again, that comes back to I don't know what there are for models and what there aren't. Like, I don't know the full catalog. So for me to be able to claim, like, oh, well, I would like this in there, I would have to confirm for a fact that that's not already a model.
And it's the same for me, because I know, as I said, dick all about the model. So I could say, like, I want this in there. Well, it's already in there. Like, oh, okay.
Yeah, that's basically the problem, is I don't know what's there and what isn't. So the question requires me to know the full catalog of GW's models choices, and I just simply don't have that.
I'm not entirely sure anyone has that level of drive.
The guys who bought the $210 collector's edition fucking rule book for the 9th edition, they better, if they're going to be that fucking easily addicted.
That just... Oh, that's special.
It truly is. Listen, if I take a shit and I label it limited edition, can I make $3,000 off of that? That'd be great.
I mean,
people are stupid.
They do it all the time.
It's ridiculous. And the thing is, again, I stand by, it looks uglier than the core rulebook, because it's just white with some random like gold looking like skulls and circular designs. I don't know who thinks that looks better than the straight up artwork that's on the core rulebook. Like, who thinks that looks better than that?
Well, it's like the so one of my favorite core rulebooks was actually a D&D one. It was the 3.5 Player's Handbook. It's just really simple. It's a book with a sword on it.
Yeah.
And that's it. It's really simple. There's like a few jewels going around it. It's just, I mean, no extra fluffy shit. Just like, boom, here's a simple image. You know what you're getting.
Yeah, okay, cool. And again, I go back to my argument with like, who the fuck is gonna buy just a book by itself for $210? If you buy a book by itself for $210 goddamn dollars, you're a retard. You're a full blown fucking retard. Okay, full blown. There's no like that's a no, shut up. You are a retard. You make the people who get called retards for their mental disorders look beyond intelligent. You make them, and trust me, I went to school. I was in the special class because of being autistic. I was with the people who definitely fit the description. Those guys are still smarter than you. And actually, there's quite a few I met who could not talk, but could fucking do better math than me. You are a retard if you buy the goddamn fucking... It's $210 for a fold of fucking paper.
It's like they don't realize. It's like they don't realize that there is a joke. They realize that there's a joke. They just don't realize it's them.
Yeah, it's seriously. When I saw that and saw that was sold out, I was begging to God it was a bunch of scalpers who had no idea that nobody was going to buy those. But I fear that it was not just scalpers. I fear that a good chunk of them were actually people who would waste $210.
So what I did was I got the entire Deathwatch collection. Let me move this over just so I can see real quick. And this is technically, this is from GW, but I got it on a Humble Bundle. And I got 1, 2, 3, 4.
The thing is, Ball, you can pretty much Google... Sorry, Ball just mentioned like the rule book and rules with the 40K. Yeah. Thing is, you could pretty much Google the rules online for free for each edition. Somebody always spills it once they buy the rule book. They just copy and paste the rules.
18 books for, I think it's like $35. And this is like... And I'm pretty sure it's all of the Deathwatch books. If not all, it's definitely the majority. So...
George says, as I'm going, what part of the 40k lore do you lads think could be expanded and explored? Maybe have a campaign made around it. I vote on the Iron Cage incident, and more recently, the Dark Angels versus Fallen. Well, we don't know the specifics of the Iron Cage incident. If you're talking about when Rogel Dorn intentionally went into a death trap, the thing is, it's implied that he had the intention to let his whole chapter be killed. That's the implication with the Iron Cage. And that the only reason that did not happen was Girly Man, quote unquote, saved them. It's like, I saved you so I can force you to obey this codex that I threatened to start a second civil war over.
I saved you to prove a point.
It's really it. It's really fucking... I'm pretty sure Gulliman would have realized how bad he would have looked if an entire chapter had committed suicide just to avoid his stupid fucking codex.
And I have kind of a bullshit answer to this one. I'm going to say none. As far as what part of the lore do I think could be expanded and explored, and the reason I say none is because now we have Erda, because there was parts of lore that were expanded and explored that shouldn't have been. So until they get that under wraps, I'm quite content with it the way it is.
Yeah, I'm kind of leaning towards not being for GW expanding on anything, because I just don't trust them to do it. I really don't. And the thing is, like you said earlier, you like to stick with the 30k stuff. They're gonna start retconning shit. Because the thing is, with the Erda stuff, that's before 30k, and that affects 30k. But
yeah, no, I'm gonna stick with the shit that sounds right.
Yeah,
I don't give a shit they retcon. Well, that was our lore. It's not anymore. Like, I don't care. It's the best part.
Yeah, it's just the complete, like, hey, let's change this up because we want to. Again, every time.
We want diversity and inclusivity. Like, if they actually knew what those words meant, that would be dangerous.
They have no idea. It's just the right kind of words to use to get people who won't even buy the models to praise them. It's like, you really think all these like socially, woke crowd are really gonna buy your models now that you're placating them? They're not gonna buy your shit. They haven't before. They aren't dedicated to the franchise, and you're currently alienating the people who have spent thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars on this fucking hobby because they enjoy it. And I'm gonna take measures to avoid that ever happening with my own Grimdark. Not because I want to be PR friendly, but because I just don't want that to happen.
Is that Vosh? Well, damn. I feel bad now.
No, thank God. But
I feel a little bit better about it now.
Vosh. Yeah, I'm not even gonna address that one. Fuck that. Not even gonna talk about Vosh.
And yeah, I like the original Yu-Gi-Oh. After that, I just kind of like, meh. So
yeah, I enjoyed
the newer shit.
I enjoyed original Yu-Gi-Oh! I enjoyed 5Ds and GX. That's about it.
I wonder how hard of a time Gilliman would have had with Mortarion trying to get the Codex on board. That would be a funny thing to explore. That would be a really, really autistic ending of the lore. But I mean, GW does it themselves, so fuck it, I have every right to.
Ball says Russ never signed that codex thing. As far as I think, was there signing of it? I think it was just agreeing to it.
It was essentially just agreeing to it.
Yeah, I don't believe there was. I don't believe it was like a constitution. I don't believe there was a spot at the bottom like, "Hey, everybody sign this." No, I think it was just, okay, you obey this. This isn't like I agree to this.
There were 2 legions that don't go by the codex technically.
The Black Templar, well, there are 2, in terms of chapters, the Black Templars straight up don't give a fuck.
Well, and the reason I said technically is because they're descended from the Imperial Fist, and the Imperial Fist technically went along with it, but the 2 that outright didn't are the Space Wolves and the Salamanders.
Yeah.
Gilliman gave the Salamanders a pass.
He gave the Space Wolves a pass, are you kidding me?
No, he didn't give the Space Wolves a pass. Russ gave the Space Wolves.
Well, yeah, but he had to. You know, he knew there was no fucking way he was going to be able to. Even with their numbers, Space Wolves versus Ultramarines. I think we all know who wins that fight, and I don't think numbers is the biggest factor.
Well, and I think, and he did it for the Salamanders because the Salamanders had just gotten the ever-loving shit kicked out of them. ISFUN 5.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where it's like, you know, you literally can't be. I think they only had like 800 Astartes left at that point. So he's like, you're literally a chapter on your own. So yeah, even if you do grow back, you know, fuck it, just stay the Salamanders.
Yeah. And the thing is, I don't think the Salamanders would have kowtowed to it anyway.
I could actually see Vulcan doing it. Vulcan liked people. Vulcan gives hugs.
Vulcan is big nice guy.
Yeah. Sanguinius and the Lion's opinion on the Codex. Sanguinius probably would have gone along with it. The Lion probably not.
Yeah.
Sanguinius always supported Guilliman and supported his brothers. The Lion always kind of had a massive chip on his shoulder. And the two people that he fought with the most were fucking Guilliman and Horus. So those three were always stuck in a whose dick is bigger contest. That was kind of dumb.
Yeah. George says, Asmagon, I'm not a great fan of Dorn intentionally entering the Well, the thing is, it does make sense because you got to remember, if Dorn were in his right mind, if Dorn were his normal self before the loss of his father and brother, both of his brothers, the brothers he loved most out of everybody, and his father, and having placed his father on the Golden Throne, the soul of Dorn was ripped to shreds after because just listen to Voldemort's description of it. His description is amazing. But if you if you read the lore as well, it still is strong. You don't just need Voldemort's description, although again, like I said, he adds so much to it. But just reading it, it's a brutal thing on Dorn, and so it does make sense because the Dorn we knew is fucking dead. You know, after what happened, he died. He died the moment he entered that room and saw Sanguinius dead, saw Horus gone and evaporated, his soul just annihilated, and his father literally less than a corpse on the ground. There was so much of himself that was ripped apart and smashed and crushed and brutalized that I think after all that, and not to mention after the Scouring, he came back to find that he was being forced to lose what family he had left, which was his sons of the Imperial Fist. I think at that point, leading his own to the trap was the actions of a broken man who was essentially like, I can either lose my sons or I can either lose my sons and have them separated from me and never be able to see them, or lead them further into the future and prosper, or I can end things now while I still have them. And so he led them into that. Again, this is not the actions of any kind of logic. This isn't the Rogal Dorn we come to know before the Longest Second. This is the warrior and the broken man making not a sensible decision. He's making a decision based solely on what shambles of himself are left. And so he sacrificed his own men, very much so, not out of any kind of strategic choice, but because it's just all that made sense to him in his state of mind.
Yeah.
So so it does make sense from the losses he suffered that he made this, yes, a very unsensible decision. This very illogical decision. It wasn't based on any kind of logic that Dorn would typically have had.
I do think something Jorge said was funny. Vulcan is a good boy. He just uses weapons that burns people and things. Don't anger a salamander. In my Death Watch game, one of them is a salamander and uses a thunder hammer, critically failed a roll and smashed one and through the damn thing and hit one of the Blood Angels in the spine.
Nice.
Like, and I rolled for it too. Like, are you going to hit the Imperial Guardsmen you think are traitors in front of you, or are you going to hit the Blood Angel in front of you? Oh no! Bad things happen with critical failures.
Dorn thinks he failed the Emperor. Yeah, again, it's a combination of things. Again, he blames himself for the loss of the Emperor and Sanguinius. He blames himself for the massive losses of people in the Imperium who were slaughtered. Dorn, again, I think this is the story of the Longest Second proves that death is not the worst fate, especially in this world.
No.
Because Sanguinius and Horus, they were killed, but their suffering ended that day. The Emperor and Dorn both were decimated. One was decimated in body and partially in his soul, and the other was decimated in his soul and was left as a shell of himself. I think just seeing how, again, Dorn leading his own sons to their deaths just because nothing else made sense to him in the moment. I think these are all actions of a very broken person, and I think it would have been better if Dorn had died that day, especially in his own mind, because a part of him, the important part that made him who he was, did die that day. And I think that's why it's so hard to, like, even in the nutshell, I couldn't make any kind of jokes when retelling that part, even in summarization. It's what makes a Grimdark so, at 40k in particular, it's what gives it such a powerful identity. And for me, that's one of the many reasons I love 40k, is when we look at moments like that. And it's why I'll never stop being a fan of this franchise, no matter how much GW fucks it up. They can't undo that amazing storytelling that has already been done. It's one of the greatest moments in fiction I've ever read.
I will say, we were asked earlier what Primarchs would be cool to come back. I think the Khan would be a good one, but he's been tortured by Tark Eldar.
What is even left of him at that point, though?
But wouldn't that be cool? Like a mentally broken Khan, or a psychologically broken Khan coming back?
I don't know. The thing is, yes, it would be very. I think Grimdark wise, it'd be very interesting to see, the semblance of Khan left over.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, like, what would be coming back. Would he turn traitor? Because his mind is just shattered, and at this point he's easily malleable? Or
I think there would be less chance of him turning traitor than the Lion at this point.
Yeah. But I'm still curious, like, what would happen if Khan were to return.
I did a what about or what if video on what if, when Horus was in the Temple of the Snake on Davin, if he listened to Magnus and stayed loyal. I put it up that Lorgar would be the one leading the rebellion at that point, leading the heresy at that point. And going through the Primarchs at that point, I actually gave Lionel Johnson as a traitor, surely because he was easily fucking fooled by Perturabo.
Yeah.
And Lorgar fucking with his mind wouldn't take anything if Perturabo could do it. And he hated Horus. So I was like, it makes sense for him to turn traitor. He's already got the hate for Horus, and he's really gullible. So, if the Line came back, I could see him turning to Chaos. If Russ came back, he's been in the Warp so long, he'd be fucked up.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, we don't know canonically. The thing is, when it comes to where they are, it's just the common community agreement is that Russ is in the Warp. But the thing is, the only thing we know is that one day during a feast, his eyes rolled over white. He fell to his knees, clearly had a vision, called everybody in the room together, and fucking left immediately on some kind of crusade or hunt. And the only one left behind was Bjorn the Fell-Handed. And the only reason we know that's what happened is because he's a dreadnought.
Korax, I believe, is in the war. He'll probably be fucked up.
Probably.
Vulcan, God knows where the hell Vulcan is.
Acerbic says, don't remember the book specifically, but the Emperor confirms to the Sigillite that the lion will never betray him.
Don't care.
I don't really, because the thing is, the Emperor has been wrong on many occasions. Just lore wise, let's be honest. The Emperor thought Horus would never betray him. Look what happened. So the Emperor is very human, and he trusts, and I think he puts the trust in the wrong place.
And again, I think that the lion could stay loyal to the Emperor, but still be traitor.
Yeah.
Technically, because you can have that argument with Alfarius and Omegon. They were like, they're a really fucking big gray area. So the Alpha Legion is like, well, they're trying to fight chaos from the inside, stuff like that. Okay, maybe, but I mean, still fighting with the Traitor Legion. So yeah.
George says, I noticed this about Dorn in Passage when Dorn is tearing down the palace, and he thinks he can and will fix everything, no matter. Yeah, but didn't he tear down the palace in terms of like setting up defenses and everything? That was before Sanguinius and the Emperor had died. So
I don't know that part.
I don't know if that's what he's referring to, because when it comes to developing the defenses for the final battle at Terra for the Heresy, if that's what you're referring to, that was before. So your point about him having a cold fury is true, but at the end of the day, when you're referring to his interactions with Sigismund and sending him off to his own chapter, that was an example of cold fury. But you also got to remember that Sigismund was still one of his sons, so he inherently held back more than. So yeah, he would obviously just have a cold fury with Sigismund and not actively hate him or desire his destruction as much. But again, when I think it comes to like the bigger picture stuff, when it came to sacrificing his own chapter, I think again that it does make sense with the broken mind that he had. But even a man with broken mind has semblances of sensibility, and I think again with the Sigismund stuff, he had his blowout with him. I think before he led the rest of the. Actually, no, it was after. It was after they went to the Iron Trap, wasn't it?
I think it was before.
If it was before, I think it was before he had used the pain glove to quote unquote meditate about it.
Yeah, I think it was before that they had a falling out, and then after Gilliman saves them and he splits them up, that's when he sends Sigismund to the Black Templar.
Yeah. So I think again, using that as an example of of Dorn not being the kind of guy to sacrifice his sons to the Iron Trap, and that it was out of character. I don't think it was out of character. I think in that moment, his character is already kind of broken up, is already kind of torn apart, and the pain glove as a form of meditation in and of itself is very edgy. But when he incorporated the pain glove on, and when he used it to meditate, I think what he considered a meditative solution, I think is more like I think his final chord snapped, and he just kind of, in a way, not gave up, but, well, I think in his own way, it was a form of giving up. He was broken down, and he was in his own way done. Like, he was like, my family, my sons, I don't want to lose, and I don't want to lose them to a civil war where we're fighting against Gulliman. We're not going to win, and even if we did, what would be left? I'm done.
And Jorge brings up a point. He's like, the Lion is loyal to a fault. The Emperor made the Lion his backup plan in case he failed. The Dark Angels were the exterminators of the Emperor with DAOT weapon. Okay, that's fine. The lion is known for being gullible, and he's known for really, really hating Horus. So the idea I had was in the sense that if Lorgar led the heresy, he would be able to mindfuck the lion hard enough to make him hate Horus and turn traitor. I don't believe, like, Horus was loyal to a fault until he wasn't. So I absolutely believe the lion could be traitor. I believe any of them could be traitor. Gilliman, the lion, Russ, any of the loyalists could have just as easily turned traitor with the right pushing, just as the traitors did.
George, I'm trying to explain this the best I can, but he believed in the Emperor's dream with zeal. Yes, he did. But what you're forgetting, the Emperor was essentially a corpse on the ground. You are forgetting the importance of that the final second. You are directly ignoring its impact. He walked into a room thinking they had won, to walk in to find the brother he respected most, who also believed in the dream before he fell to chaos, dead. He found the brother he loved and represented the dream of the Imperium, who represented its goals, dead, killed by the brother who also believed in it and who he followed and who had learned from. And his father, less than alive, a shell of life. And he represented the creation of the dream. And he was just shattered. You are devaluing that moment so much. Yes, he believed in the Emperor's dream with zeal. That's why he held off the forces of chaos for so long, but essentially by himself with little to no support from the other loyal Primarchs. For 6 years he held the line due to that belief and that strength and that zeal. But you cannot devalue that destruction when he walked into that room. The dream was dead. He walked in to see the dream in all its physical representation dead. There was nothing to rebuild. Sanguinius, the representation of its future, dead. Horus, one of its key fighters and its champion of the dream, turned traitor, corrupted, and dead. And the Emperor himself, the origin of the dream, the leader of the dream, its architect, less than alive, shattered, broken, and little more than dead. Little more. That destroyed that zeal. It killed the dream. He walked into that room, to the bridge of the ship, to see the iconography, if you will, of the dream dead. When Rogel put the Emperor into the Golden Throne, it wasn't he had no belief left that he could rebuild the dream. It was more or less to hold on to what they had left. It was this is the last I can do. The last me and the Emperor can do is hold off the final death of the dream. That's it. But it was the zeal you're referring to died the moment he entered that bridge to see everything that represented that dream dead.
Beyond Dreams says Horus was not loyal to the Emperor. He did not dismantle the warrior lodges pre-heresy. He set them Mournival so that he could validate his standing in the Legion and use them as tools. That's half true. The Horus was completely loyal to the Emperor, literally until he wasn't. He always questioned himself. He never thought of himself as worthy. He always questioned why the Emperor put the title of War Master and everything that came with it on his shoulders. So he's like, he always doubted. He's like, why me? Why did you do this to me and then leave? He was loyal. He just had no faith in himself. And then Erebus worked his way in and just, like, no, the Emperor fucked you over. And then he started believing that. So he was literally loyal until he wasn't.
Yeah. It was a bit. It wasn't the way the phrasing of that's kind of simplistic. It's like, oh, he was loyal till he wasn't. There was some contributing factors that got played on, and there was some corrupting elements. I think there was. I can't remember the book specifically, but it goes into detail of Horus's fall. The thing is, it wasn't just one thing. It wasn't just like, oh, suddenly he just wasn't loyal anymore. There was a buildup. There was a number, like his insecurities with his father having left everything to him and not being around anymore, the insecurities of his own leadership, his view of the dream, everything was kind of a little shaky, but he was still stalwart. But it really just needed the right push. It needed the right push, and it needed to be the precise right push. Because if the Forces of Chaos had just tried to convince him outright, it wouldn't have worked. But the thing is, there was a tiny chink in the armor that was discovered, and it was utilized to its fullest. That's what broke him. It was the perfect storm of essentially corruption. So Horus's fall, if things had been slightly different, probably wouldn't have happened. That's how on the tightrope he was from falling and remaining loyal.
I'm not going to say like he wasn't questioning, but he absolutely stayed loyal. And I'll say he was loyal up until Davin when he was turned.
Yeah.
It's not that he wasn't questioning and he wasn't unsure, but he stayed loyal even through that.
Oh, my neck. George says, that's the point. Dorn dedicated everything to the dream, and when the dream died, he did as well. I'm not fighting you on that. Well, that's what it comes off with, because you're using his zeal to the dream as an excuse, unless I misread that or that there's a communication issue. But I read that as you were using his zeal of the dream as a reason why he would not sacrifice his sons. But like I said, that zeal was gone by the point of the Iron Trap. And not only was it gone, but the wound had salt rubbed into it by when he returned back to the Imperium. Again, Girly Man plopped his ass down on the not on the golden throne, but on a throne, and said, I'm in charge now, and if you don't agree, I will start a civil war just over this, even though we literally just got done with another one.
Yeah.
And not to mention,
great timing.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, this man's, you're already facing a man who's broken entirely on the inside. What the hell do you think? Seriously, I don't think anyone should have been surprised that Rogal Dorn did what he did. I'm not saying I would do the same. I have no idea, but I've never been broken to that point where you just kind of give up entirely and you sacrifice your sons because you have no choice, because you view it as you have no choice. But I do believe at that point, after, I think anything is completely possible and reasonable after, I think everything's, I think after the longest second, I think anything after that was completely plausible. Before that, Dorn doing something reckless and dangerous and honestly like detrimental to his own forces would have been impossible. He would have been far more composed. But again, after that longest second, after seeing the dream dead, after the scouring, after Gulliman's rubbing the salt in the wound, I think he was just so shattered at that point, literally nothing would have surprised or should have surprised anybody by what Dorn did. I think the Iron Trap actually, when you put it in the light with the longest second, makes perfect sense. It was basically him being manic.
Yeah. It comes down to that he got completely mind fucked, and then he's like, we're going to do this. This seems good. This will end everything.
Yeah, pretty much. What I am adding, Ball says, in my humble opinion, the best outcome would be that Horus was not found first, then he may not have turned.
I disagree.
I think... I think definitely the relationship that formulated with the Emperor obviously contributed that when the Emperor left to work on the the Webway project, I think when that happened, that added to the chink in the armor. But I think even if Horus had been found much later, I think he still would have been a similar person to who he was when he was found.
I can agree with that. I really do think the order in which the Emperor found them in was completely irrelevant. I think
not completely. The twins that were found last, they had zero loyalty to the Emperor, so that did contribute, because at that point, they were quote unquote raised into the Great Crusade by Horus, so that's who they were loyal to. So it did contribute.
Yeah, I do think, however, that the only Primarch that really would have been affected by being found sooner would have been Magnus, and that's really the only one. Because I think if he had some one-on-one time with Daddy, and the Emperor actually be like, yeah, "Don't do this," and him not fucking do it, that I think would have made a difference, but not a huge one. Horus himself chose to become renegade against the Emperor because he would not be remembered. He literally told Erebus and Magnus to fall. It was only at Molech that he fell to chaos. That's not 100% true.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a simplification.
Yeah, he again, there's a lot of stuff leading up to it, but the final straw is when he got stabbed with the Anna thing, and Erebus is in there fucking with his mind. They were literally playing on his insecurities of, because it wasn't just him that wouldn't be remembered. He noticed that, there's no statue of me. There's no statue of Fulgrim, of Angron, of Alfarius, of Mortarion, of all of the Traitor Legion. And he's like, all the Traitor Primarchs. He's like, well, why aren't we here? And it's one of those things where it wasn't just about him at that point. What it came down to is it wasn't necessarily that he would not be remembered. It's that he saw the Emperor as a hypocrite because the Emperor was pushing against religion. And now there's this religion that's worshiping the Emperor. He's like, but that's what we're fighting against. And they pushed on that. They didn't push on the fact that he wouldn't be remembered. They pushed on the fact that they were putting the Emperor in a hypocritical light.
Yeah.
And that had a lot to do with it. In addition to the fact, like we've already said, that he was already going through this kind of this self-doubting and almost self-loathing. Because at that point, he saw himself as a failure because of the planet 6319, called previously known as Terra, and of his interaction with the Interact and the Mega Arachne. He saw both of those actions as complete failures, and he was the one at fault for it. So at that point, he was already almost to the point of self-loathing, but completely self-doubting, and was really questioning why the Emperor put him in that position if he's the one making mistakes.
Alex Mirchenko made a good point. Well, it's not really an argument point or anything like that. It's just a good note. Magnus did have more time with Big E because of the telepathic communication they were having before they actually ever encountered one another.
That's fair, but I'm talking like after they reunited. A lot of this, I believe, does fall on the Emperor. I mean, as much as the shitty writing does try and blame him for everything, I think that if he was going to be honest to any of his sons, the main one should have been Magnus, and he should have been, okay, don't do that. Here's why. You know what's going on behind the scenes. You already fucking know. So here's why we're not going to do this, and you can actually help me out with this. If he would have done that, I think that would have made a big difference. And that's what I honestly meant by having more time with Daddy. But he just didn't. I believe Horus's arrogance is actually a direct comparison to the Emperor's arrogance in a sense.
Yeah. Big door, can I give up? Just don't. This is George. I just don't think sacrifice is the word I would use. I just think Dorn was blinded by grief and sorrow, leading him to act recklessly. I would say that's true, but I would still use the word sacrifice. I think the loss of, because the thing is, he knew his own legion would not submit to Guilliman's fucking codex. His own, listen, even if Rogel had stood in front of all of them and said, "Hey, let's just kowtow to this. Let's agree to the codex." I don't think the Imperial Fist Legion would have bowed. I don't think, even if Rogel had commanded them to, I don't think they would have. I think there was so much built up loss and tension, and I think the Imperial Fists would not have submitted, and I think Rogel knew that as well. He knew that even if he had tried to convince them, they probably wouldn't have. So a sacrifice to weaken them to the point where they would finally agree, because even they would have to admit that they would stand zero chance once their numbers were crippled. I think that's mostly what led Rogel to do that. But I think in the moment of the Iron Trap, I think Rogel would have possibly allowed everyone to die. I think his original plan was probably, and this is all like speculation since it's open-ended enough that it's really just your interpretation at that point. But I think it could be the battle just was that bad, and that Rogel didn't have a way out. And that he was hoping to pull out before all of his men were dying, but it could have also been that he intentionally did not order a retreat because he was maybe towards the end going manic enough. He was like, "Yeah, well, let's just die here." And then the Ultramarines came and saved them. Oh, saved. That's one possible. That's one possible interpretation of what happened. Again, the other side could be true. It could be he went to just lose a good portion of his men to the point where they would be weakened, and even they would have to admit submission to the Codex, or it was a full-blown, like, I give up, and I'll take them with me kind of thing. It could have been either.
I love the idea of Rogel Dorn not being able to pull out fast enough, so Guilliman needing to help him.
Yeah.
I need that fanfic, and it's probably somewhere on the internet. I have no doubt that it's on the internet somewhere, but that was a funny image.
Rule 34, type in.
Rule 34, Rogel doesn't pull out fast enough.
Oh my god. Okay. The big lore gap is that we do not know. I think you forget that, or you couldn't fit it in with the character limit. But we do not know the exact detail of the Chaos bargain the Emperor made with Chaos. Wait, what? Okay, it's quite possible.
So the Emperor made a deal with Chaos, and that's how he created the Primarchs. And Finn Karn is saying the working theory is that he was supposed to give up 4 of the Primarchs to the Chaos Gods as a bargain. I don't buy that for a fucking second. I don't. Is
that confirmed canonically? Because the direct enemy of the Emperor is Chaos.
Yeah, I don't see him making any deal at all with them, much less giving up 4 of his 20 sons.
That sounds more like fan speculation. That doesn't sound like that. It doesn't sound like something GW would go into.
But to go back to the first part, where it's quite possible he cannot explain the true nature of the warp chaos to the Primarchs, that's also not true, because the Emperor had dealt with chaos and he knew what it was. He knew what the Chaos Gods were. He knew what the warp was. He chose not to tell them because he thought that would make them easier to corrupt.
Correct.
So that one, no, we absolutely do know the answer to that. And I think, like I said, he probably shouldn't have told all of them. Like, I would have kept that the fuck away from the Lion and maybe Mortarion. But I definitely would have told Magnus, and with Horus as the War Master, I probably would have told him as well. Just be like, hey, keep an eye out for this with your brothers. You know, if they start growing spikes or tentacles, fucking kill them.
Put them down.
When Fulgrim starts talking to a painting made out of blood and shit, that might be a good time to shiv him right in the side.
As I said, it is a theory, but he went into Moloch with 4 Primarchs, all of which had their memory erased of their time there. Yeah, but that doesn't mean anything in terms of, like, chaos corruption.
Yeah. And also, I would have to check into that, because that is after the fact. If he was going to make a bargain with the Primarchs, like for instance, let's assume that he does make a deal with Chaos. You give me the power to make the Primarchs. I'll give you 4 of them in the future. That would have been the Primarchs wouldn't have been able to go with him because they wouldn't have been made yet. So there's already a flaw there. I also fully believe that he wouldn't make that deal because 1, he absolutely loathed Chaos, and 2, I really believe he would never have given up 1, much less 4 of his sons to the Chaos God.
Yeah, I don't subscribe to the theory that the creation of the Primarchs had anything to do with Chaos. They're genetic mutations.
What? No, so I don't think necessarily had anything to do directly with Chaos, but I think the Emperor did make I think he stole, quite honestly, knowledge from the Chaos Gods in order to be able to make the Primarchs. So I don't think it was necessarily that they were directly involved with it, but I think he got the knowledge from them to be able to make them successful.
I don't know if I subscribe to that, but I can't refute it, but I don't subscribe to it. That's just me, though.
It's something that I've heard it. I would just have to double check and re-look it up. Yeah. But it could again be fan theory. It could be canonical lore. It could be canonical lore that got fucking retconned and some crazy old bitch like. And technically, no, it's really me inside the portal.
Yeah, and technically the theory that the theory is actually is undone with the Erda theory. Hell, the bargain with the Chaos theory is undone with Erda becoming canonical because it again explained that the reason that they were tossed into the warp was her.
So, actually have anything to do with the bargain. The bargain would have happened before that. The part of the theory that would fuck up is that it was the Chaos Gods and Lorgar who threw the Primarchs into the. Because technically Lorgar was involved. It's really fucking weird how they did that.
Yeah.
Time travel, how to ruin a universe.
It really is though. It really is the way to ruin things. I fucking hate time travel. That's why I am going to like outlaw it on my own Grimdark. Just no, things happened. They're in history. They're in history for a reason. None of this time traveling bullshit.
So, Jorge, I completely disagree with you. The Lion would never fall to Chaos. There was a time when people believed that Horus never fought a Chaos. I mean, it's impossible for it to happen until it happened. And I believe the Lion, you could absolutely push all the right buttons exactly the same way it was done with Horus.
Yeah. Okay. We're gonna probably wrap up the stream here. It was a pretty good first episode of the podcast. Hello?
I said, oh, yeah.
Oh, you cut out.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, this is a pretty good first episode. We talked about a lot. Talked about more than we probably needed to. It was still a lot of fun. Still pretty good. Yeah. Nice interaction with the chat. You guys were great. Yeah. I had fun. I am looking forward to doing this on my Wednesdays. It's a fun thing to do between me and Ludus, and again, as I grow, as Ludus grows, hopefully we can also get more people to join these and have a lot more fun. I think the thing is we had such a good turnout today, especially. It was really good. I had a great time.
I did too, and I think that'll be something cool down the road. Is like other YouTubers like us who are still pretty small. Well, like especially like me, just like hey, we'll come on here and share your thoughts.
Yeah, you're below 1,000 still, right?
Yeah.
Hopefully that changes. Remember, everybody, go check out Ludus. The link is in the pinned comment below. Go check him out. Go subscribe. Check out his videos. But yeah, I think this has been a great stream, and I hope everybody had a lot of fun. Yep. But I'm all wrapped up.
I got nothing. I really enjoyed it too. This was absolutely amazing.
Awesome. Anyway, thanks so much for watching, guys, and we will see you on the next Geekus Theoreticus podcast next Wednesday. And thanks so much for joining this time around, and have a good one, everybody.
See you.
All right. Goodbye. Stream is now.